It's me, Future Editing Win, and before we get into this episode, I'm just going to say it sounds a little bit different because we're using some new microphones. It was a new setup, and I sound like I'm drunk. I'm not. I was just really tired when we started recording this. So, yeah, hopefully it still sounds all right. And yeah, I'm glad to have Will back. Right, on with the show. Good evening and welcome. It's us. We're back. Will, you're here
I am. I'm back
from the warp.
from the warp, if you like.
Well, yes, let's go. What we like. You came back highly caffeinated, highly sugared up, and a little bit excitable, aren't you?
Whose fault is that?
I mean, you're a grown man. You didn't have to drink all of the energy drink in one go and all of the sugary sweat.
All that hour ago. I didn't have to. I didn't eat them and drink it all in one go. That's a combination of a couple of hours work. I'm just very susceptible to caffeine.
So it seems. Well, it's good. I'm glad you're back. It was lonely last time. It was cold.
Well, I think you did us justice, to be honest. I actually really enjoyed listening to that, and it gave me a kick up the ass to actually do some Warhammer.
Do Warhammer. That's what we do. That's what we do here. We do all of the Warhammers. Well, it's good. I'm glad you're back because it was difficult going it alone, but
I think you held your own. I think you did better than you think you did. But yeah, appreciate you stepping in and having to do it on your own when I was unwell. And thank you all for persevering with him. But I think you did. I think it was good. I enjoyed that podcast, mate.
good. Thank you. Well, there's one more thing to say. Will,
Go on.
Happy anniversary.
Happy anniversary indeed. We have been doing this for just over a year.
We have indeed. I mean, technically it was last episode, I think, but since you weren't there, this is the one that we've done together for 12 months of it. So
Episode 20, isn't it?
yeah,
Now.
something like that.
Yeah, episode 20. Yeah, happy anniversary.
What did you get me?
I got you a gift of a child's laughter. I got you nothing. I've just cooked your tea though.
You did.
I just made you some tasty chicken wings.
They were very tasty. They were very tasty indeed. So yeah, and you're underselling yourself. But anyway, it's not what the people came here for. They came here to listen to us wax lyrical about Warhammer.
Yeah, they did.
And not me say wax lyrical about 14 times, which is what I did when left unchecked by my son.
I didn't notice that.
I said it a lot. Yeah, I was very conscious of it. Apparently, I say slew a lot as well. As in like a slew of
Oh yes.
a slew of words I could have used, but I just used slew.
Yeah, I mean, I say quite a lot, so
I say it in it
yeah,
a lot of time.
we're both as bad as each other.
We are. What we're going to talk about today? Well,
Warhammer.
Warhammer.
Yeah, I mean, we've both been on with some actual hobby for a change. We've both been reading. Well, you've been listening to a book. I've been physically reading a book.
I mean, I have been reading as well. It's not like I can't. Pardon me.
Well, you have been reading some actual physical books as well.
I have indeed. I've been multitasking.
Yeah, we've got a hot sauce. Well, a pseudo hot sauce to review. You've got an interesting discussion point. Which I'm looking forward to you telling me why we're talking about that. And I mean that in the best possible way. I want to hear your enthusiasm come out.
Okay.
What else have we got? We played some Darkwater. We could talk about that. Yeah, we've got a fair bit to talk about. But it's going to be a bit of a catch-up really, isn't it?
There is. I think a lot of it's going to be 40k as well because it seems like there's no AOS stuff happening in the moment because we're weeks away from 11th edition.
To be fair, that's what we have been reading, modelling, painting, all of the above. So it fits.
Yeah.
Are we becoming a 40k podcast?
No,
we're not.
No,
don't worry, we're not. We are going to be playing Kill Team, but 40k is not what we're about.
I mean, it kind of is, but yeah, we're not shifting focus. It's just it happens to be the discussion of the moment, I suppose.
Topic of the day.
Until they release some new Soul Blight for me.
Oh, I mean, that is probably one of the most saturated ranges in AOS. So I mean, it definitely is.
It is,
and you've had quite a lot of new releases since I've known you, compared to, let's say, Fire Slayers, for instance.
Yeah, maybe yeah, whatever.
I'm still waiting for Fire Slayers.
You'll get it. I'm sure you'll get them.
Are they the only faction that only has one spearhead now, apart from Sons of Beobat?
Possibly, actually, yeah.
Yeah, it's just them two, isn't it?
The Seraphon have two. Yeah, Seraphon, yeah, don't they?
Worrying times.
Uruks? Uruk-Orkons?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Gloomspite have two, don't they?
Gloomspite do have two.
Perhaps.
Yeah, well, it's a small handful.
Oh, the
I've intended. Sorry, I made myself laugh there.
Do the silly floaty elves? Lumineth, do they?
Yeah, they got one at the start of the year, didn't they? In the January releases, then yeah, alright, maybe it is just yeah, the little lads. Oh, well, we'll see.
Oh, Hellsmiths, do they have two?
Oh, no, but they're a new faction, so we don't
Then in the dwarf, maybe it's a dwarf conspiracy.
yeah.
Maybe it's a small conspiracy. Anyway, that's it. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Shall we just get into it? It's future Will and Wayne here. Yeah,
It
who
is,
would have
yeah.
thought the magic of it? Well, we're going to talk about the Armageddon box that's just dropped. So we've already talked about Gretchen's, or what was the Gretchen's when we spoke about it yesterday, but today's Friday, not Thursday, and lo and behold, what's just happened? It was the live reveal, the live unboxing of the Armageddon box. So let's have a very quick whistle stop tour through what's been shown and give a couple of brief, succinct thoughts on this bad boy. So
Let's do it.
yeah, let's do it. I mean, we've seen the box art, so let's not get into that. The interesting thing for me, I've got to say, is I'm loving the book being split into a core rule book and a law book that quite clearly is the accumulation, the end point of the campaign books that have just been released. So I think Armageddon Operation Imperator is going to be the end of that. Apparently, it's going to be a standalone story as well. So you don't have to have read the previous campaigns from what I've just seen.
Okay.
It'll be interesting. Also, you get a conveniently sized core rulebook, which is an interesting one.
Yeah, it's quite cool. I mean, it's not something I'm gonna be in a rush to buy, but I know you're more of a collector of the books. Yeah, I think it's a cool idea on that side of things. But we'll just sort of caveat this: we haven't watched the reveal show. We were actually chatting while it was on, so we're just looking at the Warcom articles for now, aren't we? We'll probably go back and watch it, but yeah, we're just kind of seeing this at face value from the Warcom article. But I do like that idea about the books, and it does seem to tie it up quite nicely. I mean, admittedly, I haven't read them. I know you have. So that does seem to follow on quite nicely from it. But yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it's going to be one that you're going to pick up and you'll tell me all about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you're more than welcome to have a read as and when I get, and I absolutely will be doing so. But let's talk about the model, shall we? Should we start off with the Space Marines?
If we must, I mean, I sound really negative here, but I've looked at them and I'll be honest, I'm really uninspired. I don't know if that is just because it's been a long week or I've seen Space Marines done. And I guess this is something that we did just touch on when we weren't recording. I don't know if it's because I've been painting the Space Wars kill team, the one from the Dead Silence box, whether in the Phobos armor, the Wolf Scouts. There's a lot more going on with them. I think there's a lot more detail. You know, you've got a lot of the runes, you've got a lot of small leather pouches. You know, there's just a lot more detail on them. And I'm looking at these Marines in this box, and I appreciate they are push fit rather than all the bits on the sprue. But it just looks like a lot of flat curved plastic to me, and it seems very basic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm with you. I mean,
Yeah,
I think it is worth saying as well that these are generic Marines as well, so you can paint them as
true.
any chapter. So there is a lot of that embellishment that you get for each of the individual lives. I mean, I would go so far as to say that if these were actually Blood Angel themed kits, they'd be a little bit more adorned in blood drops and other bits and pieces. So you can put your own touch on depending on how you want to paint them. But
I
I
think
mean,
I had that in the back of my mind that that's kind of what I was expecting subconsciously. I was expecting more of the blood drops, a lot more, the real pale faces, pointed teeth, your typical blood angels iconography. And yeah, I think that was a mistake on my part to expect that. But yeah, I suppose putting in that context that they are up to you as to how you want to paint them, it does make a lot more sense. Yeah. But I
yeah,
think, yeah, they look a bit vanilla to me.
I'm surprised that I don't think so. He's looking at the box contents, but I'm surprised they didn't put a Blood Angels upgrade sprue or two in there. So at least if you were a Blood Angels collector, you could have done that. I mean, I guess it would have added cost to the box, but fair dues, whatever. I mean,
Yeah, them Primaris upgrade packs aren't cheap
no,
for what you get.
Overall, I am I'm not bothered about these, to be honest, dude, at all. I mean, the
I agree.
captain is alright. I'm not hating on the captain. I don't like the I mean, I always put helmets on anyway,
I
99% of
mean,
the time, unless it's my Dark Angels, but
he has a face that only a mother could love. I think, yeah, he needs a helmet. I just yeah, I think he's the best of a bad bunch for me. I'm not down for the librarian. I do like the chaplain, but it's yeah. Then again, though, we were never gonna be buying this. This isn't a case that we're not disappointed in it in the sense that, "No, now I'm not buying it." It's just I don't know, I think I just expected a little more, there's been quite a lot of fanfare around this release, and it's been hyped up, and I'm looking at it, and I'm a little bit underwhelmed on the Space Marine side of it, anyway.
yeah. Yeah, the same. I mean, on the Space Marine side, there's a couple of the sculpts there that I think are alright. Excuse me. The Ancient I like.
Okay.
I'm not hating that at all. And obviously, I like the idea of Mark 7 helmets because I really like Mark 7 helmets. There's a couple of bits and pieces that I like on the armor, but I mean, it's gonna be the standard intercessor kit going forward, really, isn't it? So it's like, yeah, cool. It's fine. There is one particular model that I do not like at all, and I think it looks really, really derpy,
Go
and
for it.
that's the, Vanguard veteran with sword. Like, the guy that's just holding it up in front of his it just like, that sword looks thick, man.
It looks round. Yeah, it
It
doesn't
looks like
look
it needs, like,
sharp,
another
it
few
yeah.
jump packs to hold that bad boy up, and, yeah, I'm not feeling it in the land speeder. I don't those helmets just offend me. That
Yeah.
land speeder, I really I know I know they're trying to go backwards with the aesthetic in some respects here and kind of almost do away with some of the things that they've established as Primaris,
Yeah.
but that land speeder just looks pump to me. I mean, it is. Oh,
It's very basic. I think yeah, I think that's a very good point, it is a step backwards, but I feel like they've taken one step too far. It does feel like we've gone back to 2005 in some respects here, and, I know there's a big nostalgia trip. We kind of mentioned that earlier in the podcast when we were talking about the orcs that had been released prior to this, but yeah, I feel like this would have been a more impactful release 20 years ago than it is now, you know?
yeah. I mean, even when if you look at the banner of the Ancient, I mean, I know this is only painted on there, but it looks not up to scratch what G-dubs normally do. I don't know. I'm just yeah, I'm really not feeling the Space Marine side. I'll be interested to see what some of these look like when they're painted by the community and such and converted and things. But yeah, I mean, it's Space Marines. It just feels like there's nothing that we haven't really had before here or seen already. The Eradicators with the heavy bolters.
I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
not a fan of eradicators on the whole, to be honest. I don't like the guard around the front of the heavy bolters. It just doesn't work for me. God, I sound really negative, don't I? It's really, really boring, I'll be honest. I'll go as far as to say it's very disappointing actually. I think for your flagship box, for your new edition, for your poster boys of the setting, I feel like it's a it's a bit of a misstep for me, and I know it'll sell, and my opinion doesn't carry any weight, and everyone else is probably gonna be screaming when they're listening to me, but yeah, I feel like they've dropped the ball for me.
There's just a lot of tactical rocks and these jagged, very triangular rocks for people and jump packs.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not a fan of that at all, are you?
I'm really not a fan. I much prefer I much prefer flight stands, but that's just me. I know I'm very much in the minority here with that one, but shall we have a cheeky butchers at the orcs, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not an orc guy, but I think the orcs stand out way more than the space marines in this box,
Agreed.
which I never thought I'd say. I think if I had to buy this box, I'd be more looking forward to building and painting these orcs than I would be them marines any day of the week.
Yeah. I'm not going to disagree with you at all on this one, dude. I mean, the war boss, I think looks pretty good.
Yeah, I quite like the Walrus, yeah, yeah, I don't know if there's gonna be any build options with him, maybe a different head or something, I don't know, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think he looks reasonable.
Yeah,
The
I
big
think
boss
so, yeah.
looks alright as well.
He looks threatening, he looks quite menacing, he looks fairly yeah, he looks primitive, he doesn't look as comical as some of the orcs can do, and I know we will see some, but yeah, he's a big guy and he looks tough.
I would
Mean and green.
I would almost certainly, if possible, do you know like how you pretty much get alternate head sculpts for all the Space Marines? You can either have them helmeted or unhelmeted.
Yeah.
Yeah. With orcs, I think you should have their mouths open
Yeah.
or mouths closed options
Hmm.
because that big boss just looks boring as hell with its mouth closed. It just looks like yeah, I don't it needs to be screaming. All orcs need to be screaming.
I don't
The
hate that at all, actually. I
the
wouldn't
option would be
disagree with
nice.
that. Yeah, I quite like the closed mouth. I feel like I think it works on, on that sort of boss character because it's almost like he would be one of the only ones that is kind of thinking rather than just screaming incoherently. I think that's kind of his role.
I think it depends on what band you're going for.
This is true. Yeah,
Right.
absolutely. Yeah.
You know, again, you can paint these as whatever, can't you? So,
Mm.
um, yeah. Same with Bannon. There's an interesting, um, aesthetic with the lips, I'm noticing. The
Yeah.
character rocks have much thicker lips than the boys.
Yeah, I like what they've done. They've made him look a bit sort of chewed.
Yeah.
Yeah, they look a bit nasty. It's not just yeah. I don't what am I trying to say? Do you know what I mean? That's
Yeah, I wonder if it's, like, supposed to be to do with the size of the teeth, because isn't it they get bigger teeth, don't they, or something? Or am I just
yeah, it's almost
talking
like the jaw's distended and they can't
yeah.
really close their mouth properly. And it's sorry, I think I'm talking with my hand in front of my mouth to try and explain this, but yeah, it almost makes it look painful. I think that kind of that's more of the orc idea that I like. That there is, I mentioned it earlier in the podcast that there's this sort of bestial, really primitive idea going on, and it's It's coming away from that sort of human-like nature that they have. It's almost like they're trying to make a point that these guys aren't close to humanity, they are utterly alien, and we're trying to get away from them just being like big green goons, you know?
I don't yeah, yeah, I think we need to carry on with that trying, 'cause I don't think we're there yet, but
Oh,
no,
yeah.
I totally get with what you're saying. I'm not I'm not feeling the banner up, not gonna lie.
No, I'm not a fan of that one. It looks a bit, um I think it's the head that I don't like more than anything. I quite like the banner itself. Yeah, the head just it doesn't work for me. Um
Mhm, mhm.
Mm. Yeah, I I like everything but the head on that guy, I think. Just doesn't seem to it looks like it's from another kit, but
Yeah, agreed.
yeah, but I mean, I suppose if you were an orc player or collector, you probably have some bits lying around if you did wanna change that,
True enough.
you would
What are you
think,
thinking
right?
about the Pain Boy?
I really like the Pain Boy. That's one that really stood out for me. Is that a completely new thing? Has there been a Pain Boy before? I don't
Yeah, we've
remember.
had yeah,
Yeah,
we've
boy,
had
I don't
yeah,
remember
they've been
seeing one.
around for we hadn't had a new sculpt, I don't think, for a bit, but,
Oh, okay. Yeah,
um,
I like the idea. It looks like a I don't know, like a really evil dentist. It's
it does, doesn't it? It
yeah,
does.
I mean, that's I don't know, I mean, it does have a comical nature still, and, I like that in some ways where you don't, yeah, I just think it's cool. I think that's just got a lot of character, and I think it's a nice change from some of the it doesn't have an axe, it doesn't have a gun, it's got something a little bit different. I feel like he would really stand out in your army once painted up, and I feel like that's how I would treat that one, and I feel like I could have a lot of fun creating a bit of lore behind him or, doing a paint job and making him really stand out if I was an art guy. Yeah, that'd be a good centerpiece one for me. I like him.
It is pretty cool.
It's almost like it's their bastardization of an apothecary, isn't it? It's
That's it.
it's yeah,
That's
very
it.
very much a, back alley butcher kinda surgeon vibe. Yeah, I like it.
100%.
Mm,
I liked it more when I first saw it. The more I've looked at it, I'm going off of it more, but there were a couple of things that I do like. I really like his fingers.
yeah.
Um, I really like that, and I like the staples that he's got.
I
I
do.
think that's cool. I don't like the comedy of him wearing, like, an apothecary's like a face mask and stuff, but
I do like that.
I
I do like that though.
think that's just my feelings of the humor, but
Yeah, I think it's the pragmatism that you have, whereas I quite like a little bit of whimsy, but I think this guy still looks mean, you know? It is funny, but he looks mean. He looks like, it's the very opposite of what he should be. He looks like he's gonna hurt you, not save you.
I mean, he almost certainly is.
Yeah, I just think it's really cool. Yeah, I very much like that model. That one and the Weird Boy, I think, are my 2 favorites from this
Well,
box.
let's chat about the Weird Boy because I think for
Mm.
me, this is my favorite model from the box, and
Do you know what doesn't
mm,
surprise me? I look at that Weird Boy and I can almost imagine how you would paint that. That looks like a model that you would enjoy painting. I
I
get
think
why
it
you
will.
like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it is certainly this is an absolute contrast to the Space Marines just looking really boring. This one comparatively, when we saw this, when we talked about it in, I think I meant talked about it last episode. I can't remember if we talked about it the episode before. Um,
I haven't
wasn't
spoken to you
overly
about
sold
this.
on this, but now seeing it amongst all of the other things in that launch box, I think this is easily the best model in the entirety of this
I
release.
I'd agree with that. I feel like they've taken a step forward with the Orcs where they've taken a step back with the Marines. If you guys are listening, if you've heard this podcast before, you'll know that I am no big lover of Orcs by any means. I'm not really a Xenos lover or anything. In fact, I probably had some quite harsh words about Orcs before, but yeah, they've taken a huge step forward here, and I'm actually starting to come around to the idea that I kind of get it a little bit more now. I'm still not a fan of the whole, you know, bikers and, junk mobiles and whatever you call them, but looking at a model like that Weird Boy, that's really nice, isn't it? That's a like, I would like to paint that as well.
It is. I mean, it looks different to the others. I don't know what it is, but I mean,
It's
oh,
terrifying, that's why.
yeah.
It's utterly terrifying if you think about it. I could imagine that in a really I mean, not on the paint scheme that we're looking at on our screens here, but I'm imagining you painting this, and I've got a really good gauge of how you would do that. Having seen some of your Age of Sigmar rocks and knowing how you do the skin and things like that, and I know how you do the glow very well, and I've seen you do a pink glow like we can see on this picture, and if you mirrored that on the eyes and, that bit of psychic lightning or whatever is coming out, I can imagine that and how terrifying that would look, and I think that's what's selling me on it more than anything.
I do fancy painting this. I'm not gonna lie.
It doesn't surprise me. I think the more you look at it, you just catch little bits of detail that you miss on a first glance every time you look at it. I think there's so many bits to draw your eye there, and I think it'd be one of them models where you look at it from a different angle every time. You'll get something different from that model, and you'll see it in a bit of a different light.
I'm almost. I mean, I will pick this up because I've got a strong idea of how I want to paint it and do like a dioramic base and a couple of bits and pieces I want to add to it. But there's one detail that I didn't pick up at first, and I think this comes across as the cleverness of the sculptors that have done this, and it's the position of the hands. He's holding the staff on a like a Novan grip, like he's holding onto it to ground himself because he's in pain and he's just like, so he's not holding it like under and over like he's gonna belt somebody with it. He's like gripping onto it because he's got like all this psychic power like flowing through his body and he's hanging on for dear life almost like
It's almost like his muscles are sort of tensed up
yeah.
and he can't do anything but sort of grip that. Yeah,
Yeah,
you seem sort
exactly.
of shaking. I didn't notice that.
Grounding the model in it.
Ugh.
I really like that as a little detail. I hadn't noticed it up until looking at it now. But yeah, I think there's I'm 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 almost certainly gonna do that and then perhaps, in a transparent resin,
Mm.
create like a glow effect coming up from around, arcing up towards him as if like all the ground's been ripped up like Dragon Ball
I
style
was
and
I was gonna say, you're talking about Dragon Ball Z here, aren't you?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah, I get it.
gonna do that, and then from the end of all of these, wires that are coming out have, like, lightning, like how I've done on the plasma Power Fist from the Ultramarine and McKill team. Have
Yes,
the
I do.
lightning coming down, going back to his head, so it's almost like bringing everything, like, the center of focus into his I really like this model. I think yeah, this
Yeah.
is standing out for me.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you've said, and I mean, you can mention Dragon Ball Z anytime you like to me as well. Yeah, I think it's a really cool idea, and I agree with you. It's the standout model from the box.
Yeah, yeah, it definitely is.
Mm.
Uh, that said, the boys are actually really good as well.
I'm not a fan of the boys, personally. I feel like, I mean, they just look like any other orc to me.
I don't know, I think that they look better. They don't look as gorilla-ish,
Say that
and
again.
there is
Gorilla,
more of a
gorillish.
gorilla-ish. One thing that I am noticing with this, and this is almost, like something we're talking about later, because I think that this section will come earlier in the podcast. I think there's quite a lot of diversity in build and structure of these orcs as well. So, like, you've got one that's got quite a slender face, one that's got, like, more of a thick set face. It feels like each of these orcs is a unique person, like, the difference
Okay.
when you look
Yeah.
at human. Normally, with orcs or pretty much anything that's not humans, you tend to see them all looking the same, and I think having that change, even around the lips like we were talking about earlier, some of them in this have got different lips, almost like they're from, different continents or they're different races of orcs,
Yeah,
you know?
you've got, some more subtle sort of changes in the green between them, haven't you? You've got, different sort of jaw widths and things like that. Yeah, there's more, yeah, more individuality. Yeah, I didn't notice that at first, I'll be honest. But, I mean, apart from that, I think, yeah, it's it's okay. It's Orcs, you know? It's what I'd
Yeah.
expect from Orcs.
I think they look better. I don't think they're bad. I think they're more interesting than Space Marines, certainly, but
Yeah. Yeah.
the Gretchens, they're the
Yeah,
Gretchens.
well, at this point, we've already spoken about the Gretchens, haven't we?
We have done. We've talked about all of these now, and yeah, yeah, the Gretchens.
Mm.
War Track, I'm I this looks old, man.
Yeah, I mean, this is the part of it's this side of the Orcs that I don't really like personally. Yeah, it's not for me. Yeah, I mean, the if you look at the back of that war track, you know, you look at the treads at the back, it seems like a real lack of detail there. It looks like yeah, it doesn't seem like um a standard GW kit. It looks quite basic.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's the paint job or the angle that I'm seeing, but yeah, it doesn't look great to me.
I'm not feeling it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely not for me. The Big Mech Dakarig.
I mean, it's not for me. I mean, yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I do get it. It's very on the nose, but I mean, I don't. It's yeah, it's not what 40K is to me.
Yeah, it's there's too much whimsy. I'm there for it for Orc players. I'm happy for you guys. This is what you wanted. I don't like how they've made the entire front of it look like a frigging big orc's head. It just annoys me.
I
That
didn't notice that
that
until you
winds
said
me
it.
up.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. Yeah,
Um,
it's
yeah, no, no,
uh,
it's a hard pass from me. But whatever. If I'm happy that we're getting that some orc love for the orc folk.
some orc loving.
Oh, clubbing. It's the best
Yeah.
type of loving.
That's a spin-off podcast that we're gonna start. An X-rated one. No, I mean,
Vodka.
I think, yeah, it's a box, innit? I don't know. I mean, we were never gonna buy it, were we? We're not 40K players as we say every time. It's just I I do feel pretty underwhelmed by it. I feel like they could have done a lot more with the Marines. I feel like we could have had a real step forward, with some of the mixtures of the older patterns of armor and stuff like that. I expected more of a bit more of a raggedy sort of piecemeal look, but they look a bit too clean and they look a bit too smooth and a bit I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't think I'm
Right.
explaining myself very well.
Well, I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah. I think I was so impressed with the Maelstrom stuff and, how they did something a little bit new with the Red Corsairs, and some of the level of detail in there. I was so impressed with that, and I got really excited about the direction that they were gonna go, and then seeing these guys, I don't know, I feel like this just isn't it. I don't know.
Can we, before we wrap up the segment, can I just touch on one more thing? Will you
Mm,
indulge me?
course I will.
On the article, can you go on towards the bottom so we can see, excuse me, some of the contents of it, and we've got the cards, chapter proof stuff. Can we have a look at the cover art for the core rules? Well, because quite frankly, that's offensive.
What don't you like about it? Apart
Well, look
from
at the
the
bolter. It looks like it's a sheet of paper. The bolter is absurdly thin.
and the helmet looks like it's not attached to the armor.
The position of the arm, the right arm, can't possibly happen. It's like phasing through his upper chest. I'm not talking about the pauldron. It's just, I don't know what's going on with the artwork for cover. It's like, just please stop. Whoever's making these decisions, guys,
Look,
come on,
it
just
looks
just
I'm
wait.
gonna say something bold here, and I know
Is
it
it
isn't,
AI?
but it looks like AI. It looks like bad AI, doesn't it?
It's offensive. I mean, when we were
Mm.
talking earlier about the size of bolts, or later on in the episode about the size of bolts, just looks like a tiny tiny little bullet shot. No, no, and the backpack's wrong. It's like the position of the vents on the one
Yeah.
on the left-hand side or his
It's
right-hand side is off.
it's the position of the helmet. The helmet looks too small as well.
I'm
It's
and
odd.
no, the gorget is higher than the pauldron for some reason
Yes,
on the
it is, yeah.
but I don't oh, no. It's proper irking me. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm gonna have to have it because I need the book in my collection, but I'm not buying the box set, I'm just buying the books, but the Operation Imperator artwork, other than it being stood on what looks like the head of the Statue of Liberty.
Does a bit.
I'm not hating that dude.
I don't mind it. Yeah, I think you have stronger opinions on cover arts than I do. I quite like that one. I I like that it's reminiscent of the what edition was it? Second edition?
Yeah, 2nd edition.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
like how
this
it's
entire
reminiscent
thing
of that. Yeah, but
is,
yeah, I like that art style. I like you know, he looks very sort of angelic, which is what you'd expect from a blood angel. I feel like I kind of want to hide the grot at the bottom. He looks like he doesn't fit, but the rest of it I like. Yeah.
I was thinking that. No,
Hmm.
I totally agree. I mean, I'm gonna save my next comment for the next episode because there's a conversation that I want to have, that I will talk to you off air about just so that you're prepared for what we need to talk about next time. So yeah, that's the Armageddon box
Yeah. Um,
yield.
yeah, what do you guys think? Are we grumpy old men? Is it
Yeah.
just that we're not? Yeah, we are, aren't we? Yeah. Okay, tell us how grumpy we are. But if you agree, if you disagree, what do you like about it? What do you hate about it? Are we off the mark? Have we nailed it? Tell us what you think.
Hello, it's me, gentle listener. I'm back again, future editing Wayne. Indeed, you're right. This next section sounds a little bit weird. Why does it sound weird? Well, that is a good question, and I'm very glad you asked. It's because we recorded this out of order over a number of days, and I was quite tired, seemingly, and it all got stitched together in a very odd, random manner. However, what this means is, going forward, it shouldn't be as random, and you won't listen to future editing Wayne quite as much. However, hopefully, now we can go longer than 3 hours. Yes, we are taking Obi Viagra, and we will be able to talk even longer sometimes if we're in the mood. Aren't you just lucky? Or maybe you're not so lucky. Maybe you don't want to listen to us talk for 3 hours about stuff that seemingly sometimes we don't particularly know a lot about. Who can say? But anyway, yeah, this next part we talked about yesterday, so that would have been on the Thursday before we had the reveal of the full box set on the Friday, which is why we didn't talk about too many of the grots in too much detail when we talked about the Armageddon box reveal, and we're going to do that now. So you'll get the gist of it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry. Just go and get yourself a cup of tea, perhaps. And no, don't get tea, get coffee. What am I on about? Do that. Anyway, I'm going to go. We're finished now. So yeah, enjoy the next segment. Bye. I'm feeling grotty.
Yeah. They smell grotty.
Mate. You're the one that stinks.
Thanks.
This week we've seen a few reveals, haven't we, of the different grots?
We have.
And I don't want to talk too much about reveals because it's the reveal show tomorrow night. As of time of recording this specific segment, this is Thursday evening. The full reveal's tomorrow, but
It is.
let's have a quick chat about the grots.
Yeah, I mean, you might have to do the heavy lifting on here because I'm not impressed, but I'm not an orc fan, and I don't like these sculpts, to be honest.
Yeah, I've got to admit, it's not the direction that I was hoping that we were going to go.
No, it looks very 1995 to me.
See, I don't get this.
No?
No, I don't get your reference to why they look 95. I think the actual sculpts are really, really good. But the humor for me, and they're still leaning into the 80s punk. I know that's where the orcs came from. It's not doing it for me, dude. I don't like it.
No, I mean, I'm the same. I mean, as orcs go, these would be the last ones I'd want to take in my orc force. I don't like the sculpt. It's not the humor element that I don't like. I don't particularly mind that. I just think they look a bit lazy, them sculpts. I don't know if that's just me, but they look like something from when I was a kid at Games Workshop. They don't look like the usual vibe that we're seeing now. For me, maybe orc fans will disagree, but yeah, it's just not my bag, to be honest.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they've gone this way with them, because everything else that's kind of been released over recent years seems to have been shifting more towards a serious tone.
Yeah. I mean, the orcs were looking a bit more bestial and
Yeah,
more
right.
intimidating rather than, the funny football hooligan kind of horny vibe that we had for a while. But there seems to be a bit of a shift back. Yeah, it's a strange one, but I guess maybe it is a nostalgia thing. Maybe they are sort of reminiscing about some of the older stuff and trying to put that back in. I don't know.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, one of the things that I was hoping for, because we got that War Boss released a while back, didn't we? Oh, sorry, leaked a while back. Um, it's one that I believe isn't going to be in the 11th edition box. So it got leaked, and it's coming post to that.
Right.
I thought that looked totally different to the current Orc range, and it gave me like real enthusiasm for it. I thought they're going in a different direction. I thought they were going to go more towards the Cruel Boy style of aesthetic.
And then we saw the Biker Mash from Mars one recently. Wazdaka. Yeah, Wazdaka. That's the fella. And we seem to be going back to the more sort of comedy roots.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, man. I'm there if people are into this, and I know Orc players are very enthusiastic about Orcs, but Orc fans, not just players, because that sounds very gamey, doesn't it? But yeah, it's not for me. I mean, one thing I have noticed as well, so I've got the Warcom website in front of me at the moment, and I'm sure this is literally just for ease of them getting this on the sprue. These are very flat models. I was surprised. Yeah, they all look like one piece.
Yeah, I do actually.
And I wondered how much of that is a callback to second edition as well, because the Gretchen that came in that were all one piece.
Yeah. Say one piece again.
Well, I've been trying to get one piece in as much as possible. Because I know how much you love One Piece.
I do love One Piece.
Boom.
Can we do a One Piece podcast?
No.
Where I tell you everything about One Piece and you just listen.
You could. I mean, you could use my name on it, but I am definitely not going to sit there while you talk to me about it.
Fine.
Sorry, dude. You have more chance of getting me on a football, but no, you aren't. No,
Definitely haven't.
yeah.
No, I see what you mean though. I mean, these look like, yeah, I've seen it more, the one with the knife raised up and then the one with the stick bomb. Yeah, I see what you mean about that. Yeah, maybe it is a hark back to that second edition. Maybe it is a bit of a look back. Yeah, maybe for nostalgia's sake.
Yeah, perhaps. I mean, there was the, I'm not sure if these are new or not, but the Speedwagons as well that got released earlier.
I think they're new.
Are they all new?
I might be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, Orc players, but I thought they were.
Cool. In which case, yeah, they look kind of cool. It's the humor from it. I'm just not there. It's like, yeah, right, it's Mad Max. I get it.
To me, they almost don't. And I might get absolutely crucified for this comment, but I feel like they don't belong in the 41st millennium.
That's exactly my thoughts, man.
They're just not grimdark. They're colourful. They're funny, and I think there can be a place for that. But when you look at them against something like Sisters of Battle or Black Templars or something, they just feel really out of place for me.
I think for myself, you've hit the nail on the head, and it's that suspension of disbelief. I can't get past these exist in the same universe as Space Marines and Sisters and Nids, and I mean, if you dare say even Tau.
If you stack up the different, the main Xenos factions that we've got, these stick out like a sore thumb. I mean, we'll leave Tau maybe we'll do a special Tau episode one day where we can discuss that out in great depth. I mean, you'll be waiting for that for a while, but I mean, if you look at Eldar, Dark Eldar, Tyranids, there's a lot more of it's a very different vibe to what you get with Orcs. It's a serious, it's darker. Yeah.
Even like Harlequins have got an element of humor, but it's a dark humor.
Yeah.
You could even say Drakari have a sadistic humor to them.
Yeah.
Whereas this Orcs in 40k to me feels slapstick.
Yes. Yeah, it feels like cheap comedy compared to, maybe an intellectual comedy.
And it feels perhaps there's been a deliberate move in AOS to move some of that humor away from Orcs. So you've got like the Iron Jaws and the Cruel Boys.
Yeah.
They're not as humorous as, I mean, you've got the is it Beast Snag? No, that's 40k faction, the Beast Snags, isn't it? But the humor seems to be in AOS have been removed from Orcs to the goblins, what are they called? The Gloomspite?
The Gloomspite, yeah.
And I think that's worked both for the aesthetic and for the overall portrayal of like the Orc sculpts. I think they work much better in AOS.
Oh,
so this just feels like it's almost like a homage to the Orcs that from years past that were established in Rogue Trader and second edition, and it just doesn't fit.
No, I feel like if you're comparing it to comedy, I think you could treat some of the more serious things like Eldar. It's something like Frasier that's a little bit more refined, where Orcs is something like Mrs. Brown's Boys, or
it's too on the nose, and it's come on lads, exactly. Really, I really would like to see the Orcs explode and
explode. Sorry, not
in a shower of fungal spores.
Viscera.
I would like to see them explode in a more serious setting.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, a more serious manner in the setting, rather than this. Perhaps if they eventually ever kind of evolve the Orcs or devolve them back to the whatever they were called, Crocs.
I don't know.
When they were giant.
I don't.
Trazen's got one in his.
What hasn't Trazen got? I need to read them Trazen, but
yeah, you do.
Yeah.
Because they were giant originally.
Like I do.
And Orcs do grow in scale depending on the size of their enemies.
Yeah.
And all this stuff. But yeah, Crocs. Somebody tell me what they were called. I will double check this. But yeah, the forerunners to the Orcs were much bigger, way more intelligent.
Oh, okay.
Like massive.
Yeah.
Like proper big boys.
Okay.
If they went back to that,
so they've almost devolved.
Yeah, they've
devolved rather than evolved.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I would like to see more of a. Sorry, I mean, no, go for there. I'd like to see them go back to something a bit more primitive. I know you've got sort of like tribal roots, and obviously they're cobbling together a lot of stuff from scrap and trash. But I feel like they could be more of an aspect where you might get a specific unit that kind of runs on all fours or something, a really sort of visceral beast type thing. Make them more threatening rather than funny, because if you read them on a page, it sounds terrifying, these big lumbering monsters, but then they just open their mouth and it it shatters the illusion that there's something to be scared of, and it is too slapstick. I think they need to be more physically, there needs to be a fear element, I think, and I know we're missing that in 40K, and we always come back to that. There's a fear and there's a darkness that they seem to be trying to shift away from, but I feel like orcs could really sit there a lot better in a grimdark sense rather than this colourful, almost circus-like,
Yeah.
this kind of, what am I trying to say? This comedic world that they're in inside the 40K universe. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
They feel like a parody of what they are.
Yes, that's a really good way of putting it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like it's really on the nose.
Because I think for a lot of years, orcs were the big bad.
Yeah, yeah,
They were um, the quintessential bad guys,
mm,
and I don't feel there's anything to be scared of there with them. And it feels, even the orcs that aren't supposed to be scary, aren't supposed to be funny. So like the goths and stuff, they're a little bit more, I suppose, on less on the nose.
yeah,
But then to counteract that, you've got things like the freebooters. It's just like you just dress like a pirate. Where have you got this from in 40K?
yeah,
Where you're dressed like a pirate, referencing ancient Earth history.
yeah.
I don't know. It just irks me to the point. But then again, it's not aimed at me. I'm not collecting them.
True.
I don't have to play against anybody that's playing as orcs.
No.
Thankfully.
Anyway.
Um, yeah. I mean, well, to be fair, the kill team orcs are they're totally different. They look way more interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you that. I mean, I don't think it's enough to make me, buy them, but
Oh no.
I don't know. I think it's with orcs. It's like if I'm ever reading a Black Library novel and it's orcs is the focus on the opposite side, I'm immediately put off a little bit because it's like orcs always lose. Like when do the orcs ever really succeed? It's almost like they're the butt of the joke all the time. It's
I think in the Yarrick, I think they win in the new.
all right.
I think
You're
Armageddon
revealing
falls.
wrong in front of
Oh,
everybody. Oh, okay.
I think.
Well, we'll find out soon.
Yeah, well, yeah, I should find out next. Is it this weekend or next weekend? Next weekend. Yeah, I should find out next weekend.
Yeah, you pre-ordered it, haven't you?
I have indeed.
Nice.
Fingers crossed. I'll be finished and up to date.
Yeah.
I've got one more to read. I'm almost at the end of Maelstrom, and I'm on to
What's the other one? Oh, the Iron Warriors one.
yeah.
What's it called?
Eye of Terror.
I have Terror. That's the one. Yeah. Oh, nice. Yeah, I think you'll probably get a lot out of that one. But you seem to be enjoying Maelstrom more than I thought you would.
I am enjoying Maelstrom more than I thought I was going to. I did enjoy 500 Worlds.
Yeah.
Way more than I thought I was going to. Interestingly, the Necron stuff. Way more.
I know, I got to listen to you talking about it on the podcast.
Yeah, you did indeed. So, yeah, that was interesting. I'm starting to come round to your boy, Chaos dude, whose name's come Hero Blackheart.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
He's an interesting character.
he is more interesting, and it's given me more appreciation from the model reading it.
I think we did have a conversation one evening off microphone in my living room where I was telling you all about the Bad Aboir backstory, but I don't think you had a frame of reference for it at that point.
I didn't know anything about him.
Yeah. Whereas now, I suppose you're learning a bit more because you've got that book and you've got that new model for him, so it's probably coming together a bit more for you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still a massive fan of the model, mostly because it's not for me.
Fair enough.
I like elements of it, but him as a character from reading the book is more interesting.
Yeah.
I'm still not sold on him as like somebody that I have any kind of attachment to.
Yeah.
But it's good for me to, I think, learn more around that side of things. I'm not a fan of the Corsairs overall,
Oh, okay.
but I think that's because of my innate dislike of pirates.
Yeah, fair enough. And I do love pirates.
I know,
Yeah. I mean, we've already mentioned One Piece.
about 14 times.
But yeah, I'm a big pirate fan, so.
Yeah, it feels, I don't know. it's an interesting play on the chaos thing. I think how it's written, I won't say too much, so I think it's a little bit too new at the moment, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody reading through it.
I think for me, it's I like the idea of them similar to why I like the Night Lords, because I'm not too enamored with chaos worshipping. A full army of devoted to a specific chaos god. I quite like the renegade aspect
Yeah,
of the whole
totally.
thing, and I think that's why they've always appealed to me. And I think before they had any specific models for them when I was younger, it was always fun to do a kit bash with different armor types and
Right.
bits from here and there, and it was quite easy to say, oh, this is why they're like that. These are,
Yeah.
part of these Red Corsairs. So, I think it's probably just a bit of nostalgia for me, but it was nice to see. I know we've spoken about Kieran before, but I'm glad to see that he's back in the war. But I haven't read the book, so
It's
I will do at some point.
yeah. I mean, I can lend you them if you like. It's
That's what I was angling for. Thank
I
you.
was gonna say just ask.
That I will. When I'm
Um,
done, and I will do.
I think with 500 worlds, because I was having a chat with someone else about this, to be honest.
You were
Um,
talking about Warhammer or something else?
yeah, well, sometimes you don't realize for ages, and sometimes I've got to interact with other folk. Well, I think these books could have been um much more than they are. What do I mean by that? Well, it's a good question.
I'm back. I am.
You are, and I'm glad you asked me that question. Well, I think specifically the first book was marred because of I think I spoke about it in the last episode with the release of Nightbringer being spoiled,
Yeah, you did.
and it felt like they could have. I mean, I'm sure it was all written beforehand, but even then there were elements in there that were very very glossy, and it just seems it was a vehicle to really cement Titus's place in the lore as a name.
Yeah.
Now, as a major name.
Yeah,
Um,
as a big player.
so that was kind of it could have been done much more succinctly, and it was like half of that narrative book is all of the exposition around Titus and the other dude. I can't remember the other character who's one of the other captains. Um, Titus's second company in there. There's another captain that's doing something in one of the other parts to reclaim 500 worlds. It's all
Well, I don't
yeah. Well, you can read it. And it's all about that guff, and that could have been like
which chapter is it?
Ultramarines.
Yeah, so,
Oh, maybe it's Nova Marines. The other guy's Nova Marines.
okay, is he the guy that got the models?
Maybe.
He's got the white armor.
I
Might be making this up.
perhaps
I'll be in there.
Hmm.
I don't know. We're not Ultraman.
I can't remember. But it could have been concatenated down into a 3 or 4 pages of exposition rather than whatever it was, like the 20 or so. It felt quite laborious to get through that, and then the Necron part felt it could have been expanded further
Okay.
to give like a little bit more context to perhaps some of the underlying relationships between the different dynasties and why certain things were happening. Again, I won't spoil it. So that was the first book, and then in this one specifically, Maelstrom, it feels like it's too focused on just specific aspects of it.
Okay.
And I get it because it's all about a location in the setting,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure that I've not missed something in some of the other books that have happened over the last 3 years.
Right.
Because obviously I've not read all of the codexes for the current edition or anything like that. So there's going to be like huge gaps in my knowledge. But this one feels like there's a lot of assumed knowledge of events that have happened.
Okay. So you've got
And
the other characters.
yeah, it feels like, I mean, it still reads fine and it's written nicely and it's put together fine. But I feel like I'm having to. Well, I am literally making notes as I'm reading paragraphs to go through to kind of like, all right, what's this thing that he's talking about? And I don't know about this.
Having to Google as you go, kind of.
I think he'd probably be all right with having much more in-depth knowledge of Black Library stuff and chaosy stuff in general, whereas I'm like, "Huh? I don't know, Shaggy." So it's taking time, but I wonder if this wasn't an end campaign set of books, if the overarching narrative wouldn't be better in a novel.
Hmm.
Just one decent novel covering all of this and how it all links together, because it feels, even though there are things tying A to B, and I'm assuming C to D.
Yeah.
Later on, it feels quite. This was the first part, 500 worlds. Boom, over there. This is, and it doesn't feel like it's a campaign narrative to me.
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not sure if that'll change in the last couple of books. I'm hoping so, but
2 more to go.
2 more to go, yeah, that have been announced. I thought originally there might be 5, but looking at now, we know the release being 13th of June. I don't think that's accurate. I think we'll get some more lore in the new rule book.
Yeah.
So I think that might be where it's finished off. But yeah, overall, I'm enjoying it.
Is there any way you think the next direction could go? I know you're not up to date with, the last 2, because one's not out and the other one you haven't got around to yet, but I don't know, is there any kind of where it might go next after Armageddon?
I don't know.
No?
No.
Interesting.
I'm kind of.
Grey Knights, give me some Grey Knights.
I mean, from what we know, that's the thing. Bits and pieces that have been put together and out there in community about elements that are likely going to appear in some of the narratives in 11th edition. Obviously we've got that cliffhanger ending from the end of 500 Worlds, of being like, brother, we need to talk.
Oh, yeah.
Lion hitting up Billy G. So I mean, that's got to go somewhere, hasn't it? And there's got to be an impact then on like Dante and everything that's going on.
Yeah.
Down there with that side of things.
Yeah.
We've got Call and whatever he's up to. We've got like what's going on with the Carcharodons. It's like Tybris dead? Because I'm hearing rumors that Tybris is like full on dead. Dead Dave. If so, why introduce the Carcharodons back? But then knowing what we know about the Carcharodons, how that's going to play in with the larger slaying of other space marines potentially.
Yeah.
Like what's going on with all of this stuff, which seems to take it very much away from Armageddon.
Yeah, well, I suppose there's a lot of questions that hopefully we're going to get answers from.
Well, yeah.
Unless it's going to be another Terminus decree where we just get dangled a carrot.
Man, I hope not. I really need some big story revelations. I mean, I need them to finish off the Arcs of Omen stuff because that just went nowhere. It's like, give me more Vashdog, give me some Dark Mechanicum, give me anything that's like interesting for me in the lore.
Give us another Primarch.
I think we're gonna get one.
Primarch or Grey Knights. I'm happy. Be happier with Grey Knights because I'd rate it with Grey Knights kill team is right on my street.
I mean, you can already run Grey Knights as a kill team.
I know, but the models are horrible, aren't they?
They are.
Oh well, they're not horrible. They're just not to scale anymore. More than anything, they're smaller. Oh no, the first one, aren't they?
Grey Knights have to be first one, though.
But I mean, they're tiny when you look at them. They're not upscaled like they're showing their age.
I think there's only one, hasn't there, that's been upscaled.
Yeah, the one that you.
Yeah, I think that's the only one.
What's his name? Can't remember.
Caldo Drago, is it?
No, he's the one that's dead. No, the one that's stuck in the warp. Castellan Crow.
Castellan Crow.
Yeah, I was thinking Russell Crowe.
Yeah.
Are you not entertained? No. Yeah, I saw that one that you painted.
Yeah,
a few years ago.
Oh, so maybe they will get some new Grey Knights. I don't know.
It seems strange to drop him when he's out of scale with the rest of them. And then
I'm still not convinced with the Grey Knights because of the whole removal of demons. From the lore,
renders them obsolete. So.
Unless they bring word bearers back into the forefront, in which case you could have Grey Knights as an actual counter to word bearers. Really, I suppose, without getting too.
And if they circle back to the Titus story, word bearers natural foe for the Ultramarines, that could happen.
I didn't know that Titus is one of the few characters that has actually heard the Emperor speak.
Really?
Oh, the Emperor's spoken directly to him. Yeah.
How was it? Was any terror?
Or no, psychically, but like literally, and it's like it's canon that it was the Emperor speaking directly to him. So he's got him, LBG, and
how is the boy, haven't they?
Not Malcador.
Dante. I was gonna say Malcador's long gone, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know it either. But,
interesting.
Yeah,
I should give these a read. Maybe
they really are giving like Titus a big.
He's going to end up being chapter master, isn't he?
Yeah, I'm 100%. I reckon we're going to see what's his face Who's the guy with the two big power fists?
Calgar.
Calgar, yeah.
I think he's
Mean Gaffed.
gonna.
Yeah, I think he's gonna get like.
I mean, it looks like. I mean, they're just building Titus up, aren't they?
Yeah.
I mean,
Maybe not in this edition with having the new model for him,
yeah, maybe not.
but maybe next edition we're gonna see
Yeah.
him stay as the poster boy and end up being his chapter master.
Make him fault the chaos. It'd be so funny watching everybody get so annoyed. Make him do something really strange. Go and join Kieran Blackheart. That'd be incredible.
That would be quite cool.
I would love that to happen.
Or maybe he became the next Abaddon.
Oh, new War Master.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
War Master Titus.
I didn't realize that Abaddon was around when Horus was kicking about.
What?
I don't know why. I mean, I did know, but then
I mean, during the first captain of the Lunar War.
I know. I don't know. I keep forgetting. Oh no,
You've not read the Horus Heresy?
I was like, what?
He was around. Yeah.
How was? And I was like, all right, yeah.
Yeah, he was.
So I find it quite how he was. Like, fuck, is that old?
He's old. Yeah. Well, he's been kicking on for 10,000
Yeah,
years.
exactly right. I don't know why I knew, but you know, when you have that realization of something, you know, like,
It was it's first captain.
right here.
First captain of the Lunar Wolves, then the Sons of Horus. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's, oh, you need to
Kind of
read
like
them books.
No, man, I'm just.
Will you not even read the Lunar Wolves / Sons of Horus?
I'll listen to it if I can find it.
Oh, you
but
might find it. What's the first one? Horus Rising, isn't it?
I've listened to Horus Rising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's in that.
Dude, if something doesn't interest me, it's kind of like it's transient knowledge. I know models. What are you doing? And it's like, John,
You like how that book is. Excuse me. That book is fantastic.
dude, like I'm not joking. I get upset every time I rediscover the fact that Alan Rickman's dead.
How do you keep forgetting?
Because I just do, and like some things that I can't just I cannot retain that information, and it's in and out. It's transient.
When did you last remember that he was no longer with us?
We're watching Harry Potter with the little one the other day, and
No.
and the missus said something about him being dead. I'm like, what?
And you just forgot.
What?
Turned.
Yeah,
Age 4,
it's like
7.
it's like, oh,
You've never heard my Alan Rickman impression, have you? I'm not doing it now. It's very good.
no, it's awful. I'll look forward to it later. So yeah, I knew probably, and then it left my head, and then I found out again this week when I was looking something up. I was like, oh, crikey, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Clearly I realized.
And then next time you watch Die Hard, you'll remember again any of these sounds.
With Christmas when I watch Die Hard next time.
Yeah, that's right. I don't think we watched it last Christmas.
Just
Usually me and Son do, but
you need to watch it. It's a good film.
it is. But yeah, this isn't doing very well, is it?
Yeah. No,
This isn't doing very well. Sorry, that's not what we're here to talk.
This is not what we're here to talk about. I'd like to see Bruce Willis in a Warhammer film. He'd have been a good Imperial guy. He'd have been a cracking Yarick.
I think he'd have been a good. Make him a space marine.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could have Primarked him.
Why? He's what?
Yeah.
Give up.
Yeah, give him a little bit younger, maybe sort of early 40s Bruce Willis, in his prime, I would say.
Do you know who?
Shaved head. He'd be a good Horus. I'd stand by that. If anybody else agrees with that, let me know. I think that'd have been a good fit.
This is completely random and off nothing to do with this, but do you know when you picture like certain characters and you kind of like subconsciously match them to an actor, and then that person's visage becomes your rendition of what that character looks like.
Yeah.
So to me, Rogel the Hunt, right, is Dolph Lundgren from Rocky.
No, I think that's doing Dolph Lundgren a disservice. I think he deserves to be a cooler Primarch.
Personally, to be fair, like Rogel Dahn's a really good architect, and Dolph Lundgren's like literally a certified genius.
Is it?
Yeah, dude.
Oh,
Yeah, Dolph Lundgren's actually genius. Like
I just like watching him punch somebody.
He's got like a PhD in fluid dynamics or something random.
Was he?
Yeah, he's like the guy is like super clever.
If he dies, he dies. I love that film. I think I wouldn't put him as Dom, but I just don't like Dom. So
No, I'm not a fan of it.
I don't know who else I'd put him as, but I reckon he'd be a.
Do you think you hate Dom because you just don't like Balrak?
No, I just don't like the colour yellow very much. I think it's too much yellow. I don't know. He
He
just
rocks a lot of gold armor. Do you think?
yeah,
He's a bit close to Big E.
Maybe, yeah, it's a bit gaudy, isn't it?
It doesn't do it for me.
No, I don't know. I think I've always gravitated towards the morally grey characters than the overtly good characters. And I mean, I might be wrong. I kind of skipped over a lot of Rogal Dawn's narrative, but he just seems a bit too much of a goody goody, you know. Same with Bobby J, as you like to call him. I liked Horus because Horus obviously went from the best of the best to the worst of the worst, didn't they? But no, I think as a rule in most literature and fiction, I like more morally grey characters because I think it's just a more interesting story, and I think it makes you question some of your own motives and why do I like this guy when he's done this? But then this I always find that just an interesting take. Use Alan Rickman as Snape in Harry Potter for an example. He wasn't overtly good, he wasn't overtly bad, but he's one of the characters you remember.
True.
So true. It's turned into a Harry Potter podcast.
I've imagined we could do a Harry Potter podcast. I'm not that massive fan of Harry Potter, if I'm absolutely honest.
Yeah, we could probably.
I don't hate it. I enjoyed the books.
Yeah, I enjoyed the books more than the films.
I enjoyed the films as well, to be fair.
Yeah. I'll watch the series when it comes out at Christmas, I think.
Yeah, we'll see.
Have you seen the trailer?
No.
It looks good.
Man, we are
Look quite dark.
subject tonight. Something chronic.
Watch it on YouTube.
I will. I'll check it out.
Yeah, I think it looks dark. I think you'll like it.
I'm excited for the He-Man film, but anyway, we'll talk about that later.
That was my Skeletor impression. That sounded more like Peter Griffin. I don't know what happened there.
How nice.
Oh, Peter, yeah.
Anyways, yeah. Climax. No, I know what you mean with Rogal Dawn. He's a bit.
He's just a bit too. I don't know. It's just there's not enough substance there for me, and I can understand why people like Valrak like him. It's just not for me. Give me a Korax or something. He's a bit too emo for you, isn't he?
I don't know. I think he's interesting currently in the war. I'd like to see a big crowy monster that's white warp or whatever we call him. Good warp, white warp.
Don't know. Definitely tainted, isn't he?
Is it?
He's a giant crow. Yeah.
I mean, so is like the Keeper of Secrets or whatever it's called. Not the Keeper of Secrets. Was it Change of Ways? So
is it Kairos Fate Weaver?
yeah.
Whatever. I mean, as Primarchs go, I think. I don't know. Just I want somebody with a bit more substance. Somebody that's got more of an axe to grind. But I guess there was no pun intended there with axes. But I guess if they're pushing the Iron Warriors and Turbo Peter, then it kind of makes sense that Rogal Dawn would return as that natural foil, I guess. But I don't know. I'd like to see them go another way. I mean, give me Liam and Russ any day of the week.
Yeah.
Liam and Russ coming back because the Lions are back. Do we get to see them have some sort of bust up? Do they make friends against all of them?
Makes sense, but
I think there's more there, and I think there's something more grip in there. I don't know. It's conjecture, isn't it? Though they might not bring any back, or maybe they bring one of the lost ones back.
Well, that's it. There's been a lot of chat online. I don't know if you've seen loads of it. That there's Tiberius or Tiberius, sorry. Tiberius is a Primarch.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose he was always massive, wasn't he? So
yeah. And he's got like a warp aura around him as well, apparently. Okay. And I really need to read Red Tide.
I haven't read Red Tide. Red Tide. It's easy for you to say.
But there's been some interesting theory crafting around that, which I think is really interesting. But I don't think they'll bring either of the two lost Primarchs back, because that's what gives you the ability to
exactly
whatever.
Yeah, and I like the little nuggets you get every now and then of, you get a little clue that never leads anywhere.
Yeah, right.
It sparks the interest up in it. Leaves you wanting more, and I think there's something to be said about that, not always knowing the answers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you don't have to bring everybody back at the end of the day. I think that'd be a mistake to bring. I know they'll sell models, and that's what's driving it really, isn't it?
Well, it's the wolf time thing, isn't it?
Yeah, right.
Maybe there is something there. I would like to see Rust just because I've really got back into Space Wolves, though I guess we'll touch on it later in the episode. But no, I think it just makes more sense to have somebody like that, I think. But I mean, look at it from Games Workshop's perspective. Who's going to sell more models? Are you going to sell more copies of Rogal Dawn or Liam and Russ? I would think Liam and Russ.
I don't know, man. The Imperial Fists are really freaking popular.
Are they?
Yeah.
Why?
People like them, isn't it? Well, it's like why are Ultramarines popular?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
It's like whatever floats your boat, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think, yeah, that's a good point, actually. Yeah, I mean, it'll be whatever they think makes financial sense, I guess. That'll be who comes back next. But Might not be what we agree with.
I think having more bad Primarchs, fallen Primarchs is more interesting. Or you know what I really would like, and we talked about it ages ago. I'd like to see a redemption arc for Morty.
Did we?
Yeah, we kind of touched on it. I really would love to see.
Having a bath.
Well, after Plague Wars and stuff, I think there's precedence there for Bobby G to have a bit of a ruck with Morty again.
Yeah.
Have a bit of a brotherly tete-a-tete, and for Morty to be redeemed and Typhus to ascend.
Okay. Yeah, that would make sense.
I would, because can you imagine?
I don't have
Because Finn can still keep the Death Guard, so that
just the new lead.
you're not irking anybody. Yeah, the Morty model disappears, but you just release a Typhus model that's
that Mortarion model's been around a few years.
I think that was the second one to come out, you know. But I mean, don't get me wrong, it's a beautiful sculpt still. It's great.
It is, yeah.
Just imagine having a fallen Primarch come back into the fold. How everybody would hate his new chapter or whatever they're called, and just like how conflicted that'll be. Oh man, that is so.
What were they called before they were the Death Guard? Did they have a name before?
Dusk Raiders.
Yeah, they get the Dust Raiders back.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd like to see that, but I don't know. I mean, I don't think that it's possible that he could be forgiven in that sense. I could see maybe, something a bit more Shakespearean, that Angron gets rid of the nails and comes back and, decides maybe in his final moments that he was wrong and starts fighting for the other side before he dies.
But Mortarion only betrayed like the Emperor because to save his legion. It was
but I mean, then you're going down a slippery slope again of saying Magnus did nothing wrong.
Well, he didn't.
Well, exactly. So I mean, I think this is the interesting conversation because it's that morally grey thing again, isn't it?
Yes.
It's you can see it from both sides a little bit more, and I think that's what makes these guys more interesting than the out and out good guys. So, yeah, I think we've accidentally kind of got to the same conclusion there. But with different ways again there, but I think it makes it more interesting. I mean, I would love to see that with Mortarion, but I don't know. I mean, has that been rumored? Is that on the cards, or is that just straight out of your head?
No, I'm not.
It's cool though. I mean, you could do that if you wanted.
Yeah,
Nobody's stopping.
Oh no, absolutely. No, I think it'd be interesting. Yeah, 100%. Because it's almost like you could use them as a proxy for Dark Angels.
Yeah, you could.
Because you could even have some. I don't want to say you could uncorrupt people because I don't like that. When I say uncorrupt, I mean like unmutate some of the Death Guard that are all technically bloody fish faced.
Fix them,
whatever. But I do like the idea of, because we know from what's that big old vault that Cole had, where he created the Primaris.
I know what you mean, but I can't think of the name.
So that has or had, I know he took all of the stuff that he needed from it. Primus Sanctus or whatever.
Yeah, Primus Sanctus
had uncorrupted gene seed from all of the chapters.
So they could rebuild.
They could rebuild them. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it'd be interesting, but I don't know. I think for me, I don't know. It's almost, I think it needs to be a little bit more tragic. And you're going to tell me off for crossing the streams because I've done this a couple of times where I've relayed it to Star Wars. But imagine the end of Darth Vader and doing that with the Primarch. I think that would be a little bit more fitting. Then you're going to get people saying, well, that's just Darth Vader's.
Yeah, it's literally
the Jedi. Okay, yeah. In fact, I love Return of the Jedi, so be okay with it, I think.
I mean, I won't be adverse to seeing a redemption arc for Morty and him dying.
Why him? Just out of interest.
Because I think of the fallen characters, his is tragic. Like if you read Mortarion, I'm sure you must have read it because you've read the Horus Heresy.
I have.
It is a full on tragic story. It was like the entire thing he was put on and everything was against him, and he still tried to do the right thing, and the right thing was ultimately the wrong thing. It led to his.
He's trying to save his lads,
downfall, and nobody saved him. He was looking at the Emperor to save him, his dad to help him, and neither of his dads, the Emperor or his adopted dad, helped him.
Yeah.
They just made it worse and worse and worse, and that adversity led to him being corrupted. And I don't think the corruption was because he was a flawed character. I think it was the flaws of the Emperor that caused that corruption. And I think that's what makes him so interesting to me, because of all of the fallen Primarchs, it feels like he is the one that could be redeemed. And there is that natural successor as well for the plot hole there in Typhus, because it was him.
Yeah.
In the first place. So
okay.
We're not really losing anything in terms of utility in the game, but in terms of having a really nuanced story that I think does have a lot of emotional depth, that is a real draw for me.
So, riddle me this then. So, you bring Mortarion back into the fold.
Yeah.
Let's say, I'm not going to say everybody's happy to see him, but he's redeemed, don't want to say he's forgiven as such, but he's allowed back to fight on, let's say, the quote-unquote good side.
Yeah.
How do you get rid of his massive wings? Did they keep them? Because he's mutated, hasn't he?
They ripped off in the fight with Bobby G. Bobby G rips them off.
Oh, of course. Yeah. All right. Ignore that then. Okay. No further questions. That's really interesting. I never would have thought of that. I think if I was thinking of any that could naturally sort of change, I would think it would be the Thousand Sons, to flip that around. Magnus coming back. Let's say the Emperor dies, who's the next most powerful Psyker?
See, that's why I don't think Magnus could. I think Magnus could is too much of a conduit.
Okay.
And he's embraced it. I don't think Mortarion's embraced it.
No.
Perhaps there's
What's he been doing?
What has he been doing? He keeps popping up here.
Yeah, he doesn't really seem to have much of an agenda, but I don't know if I'm missing something.
Yeah, no, not yet. I think he is going to play a little bit more of a role perhaps over the next couple of editions in the story, but he kind of seems to have been pushed to the back a little bit.
He's definitely a demon prince.
Yeah, he's a demon prince.
Yeah, prince. Yeah, okay. Yeah, it'd be interesting. It's always nice to. He seems like a bit more. He's not really the figurehead for his own legion of.
No, Typhus. Yeah, effectively. Yeah, he's.
If you think of, you think of Plague Range. You don't particularly think of him, do you?
Yeah. It doesn't even seem too down with the whole Nurgle thing of like wanting to spread grandfather's gift, and so everything seems done under duress, and I kind of get it, but it does feel like he's being constantly. I'm sure they all are constantly manipulated, but for him, it feels like when I've read any of the lore with him in it, that he's always conflicted. That yes, he always does follow the will of Nurgle or whatever's pulling his strings, but he's never committed to it. It is very much.
He's not become a great and clean one or anything to that extent, has he? He's still, kept his sort of form. He's not, this big sort of corpulent, pus-filled, sticky mess, is he?
That's it.
Yeah.
Whereas Typhus has totally gone.
Typhus has done that. Yeah.
Completely gone into it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I just think that would be a real interesting move away from kind of the somewhat straightforward storytelling we've got as it's become more popular, which I get as well as that accessibility thing to consider, isn't there? But I think losing some of that characterization is a little bit disappointing. But who knows what's going to happen? And that's the wondrous thing about it, isn't it? It's like we can have conversations like this.
Yeah. And I guess, if you really wanted to, you could make that work in your own hobby, couldn't you?
Oh yeah.
And you could do your own headcanon, you could do your own model, if you so desired. Anybody could. But yeah, it's a really interesting conversation, actually. I didn't think it was going to go that way, but I'd like to see that, actually. I'm not sure it will happen, but if it did, I'd be behind it, and I'd be questioning you, and if you were some sort of latent psyker, if that does happen, because it seems a bit left field.
That would be good if it did. I'd be happy. You can have it if Games Works for listening. You can have that one for free.
Stuff like that.
I'll never even make any money in the hobby.
You don't want to.
No, I don't. You're absolutely
right. A hobby, wouldn't it?
It would indeed stop being a hobby. That said, I'm getting rid of my Slaves to Darkness. So.
Yeah, true. If anybody wants to buy some Slaves to Darkness, they'll be going on sale soon. Slaves to Darkness. Why are you selling them?
I painted them all. I enjoyed painting them when I wasn't whinging about painting them.
Yeah.
I then played.
No comments.
I enjoyed painting a couple of them. I really enjoyed painting Be'lakor, and I really enjoyed painting Archaon.
Yeah.
But when we played Spearhead and I played Slaves, I really, really didn't like how they played.
Yeah, I mean, I got that one. I mean, you tried a few times, didn't you? I think at the time we were playing, I was playing Fire Slayers, and their mechanics were quite similar with the sort of in that one. Yeah, what was it from your side? Was it the Chaos Gifts, the boons? Yeah, it was really similar, and it kind of felt like we were sort of playing the same faction, but in reverse.
Yeah.
And I don't think they lent themselves towards your playstyle. I definitely think Soulblight is more suited to you. I think it's faster. It's more of a. I think it's a little bit more nuanced. I think the Slaves was kind of just like, down the middle. You get these different boons here and there. They didn't really stand out at anything in particular.
I think that's maybe because I went undivided. I mean, I think it's hard to kind of gauge that from Spearhead because you can align them to a specific god and stuff. But yeah, because I went undivided. I don't know, right? I think I like the aesthetic of some of the models.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it's rule of cool, and I don't like how they look.
Yeah, well, fair enough.
I like I like vampires. I love the Soulblight. So yeah, I was gonna just keep them and have them stored. But what's the point? I'm never gonna play them, and it's like,
Yeah.
Some people love playing the game and don't want to paint an army, but want a nice looking army. I would rather they went to a good home and somebody enjoyed them. I enjoyed painting them. Yeah, somebody that's gonna, get something from them, and I can take that money and reinvest it into something else. So I think what I'm going to do, and we haven't talked about this at all yet, sorry.
That's been 40.
So funnily enough, I think I'm going to buy some of the models again in the Soulblight range that I want to repaint better, because I smashed through the Soulblight.
Yeah.
And I want to do the same, or have them all. It's going to be my forever army, I think. I don't think I'm going to move away from Soulblight, even if it changes substantially. So I'm thinking I want to redo things. I've got enough to play with.
Yeah.
And I can paint for fun.
Yeah.
And enjoy having a second display piece army. So like my Maggot King.
Yeah.
I all painted.
You want to paint
like that? I want to paint to that standard. Yeah. So I think I'm going to do that.
Are you going to keep your same sort of color theme, color palette, and go there, or change it up?
You know what? I don't know, dude.
Still early days.
Depending on what I can get back from the Slaves, and I've had a quick look, and it's a wodge of money I've invested in it. So I'm looking to recoup a little bit more than that. And so I looked at the average price on eBay and all of that other stuff, and it's like if I can sell them, I'm going to see a return of like 3 to 1.
Yeah.
Looking at the average prices.
We literally just said you can't make any money from this, are we? I know what you mean.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it's different if I was just doing commissions. But yeah. So if that's the case, then we'll see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I'm happy with Vordry.
Are you selling them as like a job lot, or are you going to split them down?
No. Well, I'd ideally I'd like to sell them as one.
Yeah. How many points have you got? Do you know off the top of your head? It's the full range, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a full range minus Archaon and Be'lakor.
You're going to
keep those.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's still it's a more than playable army.
Yeah, they were gifts, weren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my wife and parents.
Yeah. I think that's good then to keep them ones.
And Be'lakor's one of my Jesus models.
Yeah.
So there's like
he looks cool in your cabinet.
I'm happy with it. What I was going to suggest is if whoever bought them, if they did want the whole range, and they supplied the models, I'd paint Be'lakor and Archaon for free, just so a default set.
Well, if anyone's listening, drop us an email if you want.
Yes, do that. I'd be more than happy to. Ideally, collection.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to package all that up, but
that'd take forever, wouldn't it,
mate? Tell me about it. I went through. I think it's 5,000 points ish.
That's a big chunk. Yeah, I think I mean, look, we're not talking about this, we're not trying to get them sold on the podcast by any means. So I think it's a very interesting conversation to have because, I mean, you did it for your YouTube channel, didn't you? You
Yeah,
did
yeah,
the
yeah.
painting tutorials. So, I mean, they've served the purpose there for you. You've got a lot of views and you enjoyed the process of doing it, of painting them as an army, but you found out that
100%.
it doesn't really suit your playstyle, and that's okay,
It doesn't, and I learned a lot from doing it. And what I got from it is that I love my Soul Blight army, but I want to make it consistent. And
Yeah.
I had some thoughts earlier, um, just today, in fact, when I was thinking about this over lunch. I think one of the things with the slaves is that it was much easier to make consistent army theme with them because they're all more similar than Soul Blight. So when you look
Yeah.
at the infantry units, Chaos Warriors look very, very similar to Chaos Lords. They're all armored. I haven't got any of the Dark Oaths in there or anything. So everything is a very similar aesthetic. They all have Chaos sigils on them.
Yeah.
They all generally um, have some furs on them and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah.
All of the beasts have the same style of armor plate. Um, and then obviously there's the basing theme is very striking on these as well. So I've got kind of like glowing bases. So I went with a glowing pink
Yeah.
to represent undivided chaos rather than any of the individual colors. And that was easy to carry through across all of the models, just regardless of what they were. Whereas you look at the Soul Blight, you've got a real heady mix of the vampires.
Yeah.
That are more like your elite units, and then you can either go skeletons or you can go zombies. I've gone with both. It's very difficult to tie those in with the color palette
Yeah.
back to either, like, I've gone with red for the vampires because
Why wouldn't you?
why wouldn't I have gone with red for the vampires? But again, that might be something that I change now over time.
I think, I mean, if you look at that range on a whole, I mean, you look at some of the named characters you've got, you've got a real mix there of, ones that are pictured wearing different color outfits. Kato wears like a dull green, doesn't he? And then you've got that, what's her name? Volga? Irina Volga? Have I made that up?
Oh yeah, the
Yeah.
Varka.
Yeah.
Yes,
She's a very different vibe, isn't she?
she wears green as well.
Yeah. And then you've got Radukar. Um,
He's legends now.
but he's still cool.
He's got red coat. I mean, he's painted as a red coat.
Yeah. But then, I mean, you just got more of a mix, haven't you? I think there's definitely more variety than you have in the Slaves Army. You've got real different, like really different characters, really different vibes in the faction. Whereas, yeah, I get what
That said, with the slaves, you could always, like with the warriors, for instance, you could buy third party heads and go like with a single horn for Nurgle and stuff. I've seen people do that, with green tints to the armor and stuff, and it works really well. But again, it's easy to do that consistent. Like you're absolutely right with with the Soul Blight. The range is made up of what was effectively 4 different sub factions previously.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so you've got those different aesthetics. You've got Varkros, like as you said, with Harina and Radikar, and then you've got the other vampire, the beastie ones I can't remember the name of. With the one, oh man, I'm getting tired now. I don't remember any of the stuff. The Mother of Nightmares, I can't remember her name.
She's the one with the bats.
No, she's the big one that is a giant bat. It's me again, future editing win. It's Luca Vi. That's who I was thinking of, but I couldn't because I was so tired. Back to it. So she's like,
Oh, yes.
yeah, her.
Yeah.
I can't remember her name. Then you've got like the Kado,
Yeah.
kind of
And then
aesthetic.
all them
then-
other dudes that hang around with him, the snake one, and
Yep, yeah.
we have
Those-
spoken about this at length in our episode
yeah,
Fighting into the Grave Lords,
That's the one.
which was
Blades of the
Blades of the Hollow King.
Blades of the Hollow King. Guess who? Yep, that was Sysandra and Aurelius. Will was getting tired as well at this point. Then you've got Neferata.
Yeah.
He's got like the gold armor and stuff, and then you've got Manfred von Karsten, which is more of the Blood Knight kind of ones. So you've got like so many different aesthetics, and then like say they're tied together with the infantry. That we've got the older things like the corpse cart and the necromancer. We haven't got. Well, we have got an upgraded necromancer sculpt now with the Warhammer exclusive.
Next year we do.
Um,
We don't have it. Has anybody got it yet?
yeah, oh yeah. Well, we've been able to get it since last year.
I know. I just missed out.
Yeah, I think it just depends when the renewal thing is. So I think that's quite difficult. And what I'm thinking is, the blue glow that I've done around my skeletons.
Yeah.
So I only did that on my grave guard or whatever the new versions of the grave guard are called.
Yes.
Yeah, they're called grave guard, aren't they? Because of the Black Knights before. Yeah. So they've got like glowing bones. I'm going to do blue glowing eyes on all of my other death rattle skeletons.
Okay, that'd be cool.
And then I'm going to do glowing blue eyes on all of my vampires. So
what? Glowing blue eyes.
Glowing blue eyes.
Glow.
Oh, mate. Yeah, this is definitely the last one of these we're recording tonight. Glowing blue eyes on all of the other vampires. So there's at least some color that ties them all together, other than just the base. The basing's consistent.
Yes, yeah.
But it's just I want to have something pulled through, because all of the beasts have got yellow eyes.
Yeah.
So that's what I was going for. So like anything that controls the beasts. So I'm going to have a yellow glowy tinge, but the vampire will still have blue eyes. But if they look like they're casting spells or anything, like Volga,
yeah,
for instance, she'll have a little bit of yellow around where the bats, and I'll do all the bats' eyes yellow to reflect the fell bats, and the dire wolves, the same thing with.
Well, like the Vargeists and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I like that idea.
So I'll do the bestial ones that glowing yellow, and the ones that are more regal, the blue, because they're the ones that are necromantic, can control the theme is.
Okay.
And I've already got that teal glow on some of the skeletons and things. So I think that'll pull it together. But I'm almost considering grabbing another 100 skeletons and 100. The zombies I think are alright. I think the skeletons could do with repainting, so I'm perhaps doing another 100 death rattle.
Oh god, that sounds like a.
I know. There's no reason to, but
If you want to do it though, you want to do it, and if you can recoup the money back from your slaves to do that, then why not? If that's something that you want to do, and if you're gonna enjoy doing it and you're gonna get some satisfaction for it, then nobody's here to tell you not to.
Well, that's it.
You don't have to do something new. You can revisit them and
exactly
do them how you pictured them the first time around.
And that's it. And I think that's what I want to do.
What about Curse City? Would you have to get that again to tie them together?
No, because I could take the models that I would use from. They would stay as they are.
Yeah.
Because I can use Radikar. I think Radikar's the only one that's Legends. Radikar and his retinue, so those models have been Legend.
Yeah.
But Radikar the Beast is still fine.
Yeah, Radikar the Wolf is Legend. Radikar the Beast isn't.
That's right, I think.
Yeah. I really like that Radikar the Wolf model. I think everyone hates it, but I love it.
Yeah, it's not for me. I can see why you'd like it randomly.
Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
I still need to paint mine.
His face is what to paint.
It's when I've looked at it, it's all the joins in the cloak that I'm not looking forward to.
Mate, I did not enjoy that at all.
Well, I put it together and I thought after I glued it together and it was dry, I thought I wish I hadn't put it together, because I can see how much of a chore that's going to be.
It's really hard both ways, because unless you put it together, you can't. There's no way, and I cut off all of the tabs.
Yeah.
There were still gaps that needed filling. So I had to. It was a nightmare.
Fair bit of green stuff used when I built my Curse City mod.
I think what I'd do if I ever paint that one again, for whatever reason, I would do some surgery, remove the head, and then I'd paint the head separately, and then glue the head back on. But you can't do it in that way, because I think, if I remember rightly, the front of the hat is a separate piece.
Yeah, it was a weird sort of ring that kind of sat on through part of his pelt.
Yeah, I think it was an odd way of doing it.
Yeah,
it made it a very, very difficult painter's model. For me, at least, on my skill level. So
I think it'd be same for me and whatever. No, I mean, I love it. I mean, we've talked about, I love that novel. I think he's really great in it, and I picture him as I picture that model. So yeah, I love it. But I'm sorry, we've digressed a little bit. But no, I think if that's what you want to do, I think you found the faction that you really gravitate towards, and if you want to spend the money and spend the time, getting them to exactly how you picture them, then I think that's going to be really rewarding.
Yeah, I think that's where I want to go. I want to have an army I'm happy with. my flesh eater courts I'm happy with. I want to paint Ushron, so I'm probably going to pick him up this year. And
Oh, yeah, that'll be cool.
yeah,
I really like that
I
one.
really like our. I've still got Fulgrim to paint and
Oh, I didn't know you had.
Theogrim. Yeah, I got him. I bought him for my birthday, and you got me the Marrow Scroll Herald. So I've got those two to paint, and then I
Oh,
will.
Felgrim.
Yeah.
I thought you said Fulgrim.
Oh no, not Fulgrim. Screw that guy.
Right, Felgrim. Sorry, I'm with you.
But I do want to paint Fulgrim as well at some point. Yeah, so I've got those to paint. I did almost pick up another 40 ghouls at the weekend.
You've been looking for them for a while.
No, I've been looking for the Vargeists,
Oh, yeah.
or whatever the other build option is for the Vargeist, but
Fargolf.
no, Vargolf's different unit.
Oh, right, okay. Ignore.
They're crypt horrors.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah.
Crypt flayers.
Yeah.
I need some of those.
Okay. So why didn't you pick up the? Which ones?
He only had 20 of them unpainted. They were 75p each, so I should have done.
Oh, the down film it.
Yeah. So I should go down and pick them up, and then that would give me a sizable force. Because I mean, my other bit of conversation, I suppose, to wrap this segment up was, I was thinking I'll get the flesh eaters a reasonable size, because then I can pull in elements of that into my soul blight army, because vampires and vampires they go well together. And I do want to paint a couple of the Nighthaunt models as well.
Oh, you like tussle that I don't.
Yeah, so I was going and I can paint them all, so there's like that blue runs through them all, so they all look consistent. Even though I'm not going to play with the Nighthaunt, it'd be nice to just like have all of the death factions.
You like the Scriptum Mortis, don't you?
Yes.
Which is one I really don't like.
I say all of the death factions. I have no interest in the Bone Reapers, so I won't do them, but I like...
None of them.
No.
Not even the ones in the box to your left.
Nope.
I really like them.
Nope.
Heralds of the Bone type.
I like the guy in the middle. I say I like him. The guy in the middle I don't mind. And then I like those ones that got released a couple of weeks back that looked like ninja things.
I didn't like that one.
They were all right.
When they look like Shredder.
Yeah, I don't like...
Was that Shredder? Yeah, Shredder from Ninja Turtles.
I like what's his face, Caracross. That's a reasonable model.
Yeah,
but I'm not. Yeah, I don't care about them.
fair enough.
But vampires and ghosts are cool.
Yeah, they are.
So I might do some 1 or 2 Nighthaunt just for funsies.
Yeah, cool.
So yeah, that would hopefully. I mean, I should still have some hobby funds left from that.
Yeah.
But then I've got my Sylvaneth as well to paint.
Oh yeah, you bought
I bought the Spearhead and I bought a couple more that I just wanted to paint.
Yeah.
So I've got those to do.
Cool.
And I'm almost certainly going to paint and flip the Gloomspite.
Are you gonna flip them?
Yeah, I think so. I might. I don't know. Yes.
Yeah.
That's hope whimsy has no place in my life.
It's far too bumpy, isn't it?
But I'm never going to use them. They're going to be sat there. So I'm even tempted to just get rid now, to be honest, and not even bother painting them.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, if you don't think they're going to be of use, then yeah, try to get a bit of cash in your pocket to make what you do want.
That's it. So yeah, that's where we are with that. I have nothing else to say about my Slaves to Darkness. They will be leaving for Pastors New hopefully soon. And
well, look, I hope they go to somebody that can get some enjoyment from them. Enjoy playing with them. I think that'd be the main thing. But yeah, all right. Well, keep us posted, and keep us posted if you have any thoughts on the Soul White once you get back up and running.
I'm excited to play more Soul White. Yeah, I will do.
You've got some discussion points around 500 worlds that came to you after the last episode, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I've been they're not necessarily about 500 worlds. They're more about stuff that I've been contemplating while I've been reading through 500 worlds.
Okay.
So something in mind. I said, hold on, I'm just going to make it bigger on my screen because there we go. I can see it. It's like I'm talking to you now, Will.
It's like we're back. It's like we're back at the table.
Yeah,
like we were 5 seconds ago.
It is the magic of the internet. So I was thinking about Necrons because in 500 worlds we find all out about Amitar, whatever he's called, Necrosa. So the first of the flayed ones that had the Destroyer virus, and all of that good stuff. And I was thinking more about the Necrons in general. Now, from my understanding and from the little bits I've read, so unlike in AOS, I haven't read through all of the 40k codexes. I don't believe I have a Necron codex yet.
Okay.
Okay, so this may be explained somewhere. So any listeners, if I get this wrong, I do apologize. And if there is an answer to this, let us know in the comments. Hit us up on Discord. Send us an email at feelnopain at gmail, feelnopain podcast, FMP podcast at gmail.com, isn't it? You can
Yeah.
find it. We'll put all of the stuff in the description. Don't worry. Don't you worry about that, guys. Anyway, on to the important thing, because this has been irking me. A couple of questions came into my mind, and I want to discuss them. So, Necrons. Before there were the Necrons, there were the Necrontyr.
Mhm.
Okay, and they were like organic, and they were pretty much still a very advanced civilization.
Yeah.
And there were, I think it was they had cancer or something. They lived near on a planet that had a sun, and they basically had skin cancer, so they didn't live very long at all. And that's where the whole concept of the tomb worlds as well came from, because they were very short lived. Um, and then this Catan, however we pronounce them, I think it's Satan.
What was that? I always said Catan, but I'm happy to be wrong.
I think it's Satan, but I'm not sure. Either of them seem correct. So who cares? Let's not let's trim his beards back, and I'm sure somebody else tell us what the right way is to pronounce it. But my point is right. So the Satan, Catan, these star gods, literally they're described as star gods. Okay, so I'm gonna get like a bit out there and whimsical with this, and this is probably like pinching in too much to some elements of the law that I'm just overthinking, but I genuinely have this question. So they're I'm assuming if they're gods, they're omnipotent. In my
Yeah.
head, I would say that, and I've got questions about chaos gods as well. We've kind of touched on this in previous episodes. Okay,
Well,
so
I just I'll stop you there. I think you might be falling into the Judeo-Christian idea of God there.
I think it might be, but
Mm.
okay. So so still, let me loop back, and we can tackle this. Let me ask the actual question, because I think there's something that you've touched on there that feeds into it, but I still think there's an underlying question that I want to explore. I'm gesticulating a lot. Maybe we should put this out, because I am genuinely into this idea now. So they were all dying, and they got this Catan, and there was some there was the war in heaven, and all of this bargain thing happened, and they were like, "Right, we will save you. We'll do the biotransference into these robot bodies." Who created the robot bodies? Where did this technology come from to put the Catan in, to put the Necrontyr into these bodies? If this is like a god level stuff, yeah, I can't reconcile having gods creating a technology that is very, very, very much, akin to what we currently have. So there's if you read any of the Necron lore on in any of the books, even in 500 Worlds, they talk about systems, processes, protocols. They talk about programming languages, corruption of code, bit rot, all of these things were analogous to like computer systems. Now, I mean, they're literally one to one to systems now. I can't in my head figure out how those two elements of law have been amalgamated into one to create the Necrons. I can't see how a god would create robots and all of the surrounding processes and elements that need to put that framework of civilization for that kind of procedural automation, automatons effectively. I mean, I know some of the Necrons do have self-awareness, but the fact is that they're still in robot bodies.
Mm.
I can't get I can't figure that out. It feels weird. I can't see that something that's supposed to be as old as the Necron, that was the Satan, sorry, that's been there since the dawn of the universe or whatever it's supposed to be. I think there's bits of law about them coalescing into like sentience through like untold eons. So they've not evolved as we have, and we've gone through like, a type 1, type 2, type 3, type 4 civilization as I'm assuming works in 40K as it does in our world. They've got sentience at a god-like level, so they've never had that technological advancement to be able to have a frame of reference for creating all of those things. I suppose an argument then could be, well, they took what the Necron had created, and Necrontyr, sorry, had created at the time, and then they had a sort of like hyper evolution to put them into that bodies so that it wasn't totally alien from what they were doing. And so it was like it was that power that created the Necron from what they already had from the Necrontyr. But it doesn't, or I've not seen it anywhere that that is the canon of what was created or why. So yeah, I suppose that's my question is I don't understand how those two things could happen. What do you think about it? Because
I
it feels
mean,
like something that's non-corporeal creating like physical tactile systems is just alien to me.
yeah, I mean, you're opening up that discussion on a very, very difficult topic. No, I mean, it's very interesting. I've never really given it that much thought. I've never been a particular fan of the Necrons, and I haven't really delved into the lore as such. So yeah, I don't know. I've not really given that much thought, but it makes a lot of, well, I won't say it makes a lot of sense, but your question is a very good one of how can a being create something that doesn't, create something with technology that doesn't exist? In a nutshell, is that
Effectively,
what you were saying?
they're
Yeah.
creating a technology from nothing, and I think this is where it loops back to what you were saying. Where am I conflating gods in 40K with the Judeo Christian perspective of gods and omnipotence? But I don't see how you can do it any other way because
Well, I think you've got, if you are looking at it from a really basic standpoint in, real world theology,
Mhm.
I don't know how this conversation's got to this point, but we'll run with it. If you think about it in today's sense, then let's say God created humans and gave them the ability to think and to create, and that's why we have technological advancement in real life. There's an argument for that. So yeah, it's kind of the flip side of that, isn't it? It's the God did the hard work rather than giving somebody else the capacity to do it. The God said, "Here you go. Here's this technology that doesn't exist apart from in my mind, and you know, do what you want with it." It's yeah, it feels like a bit of a lazy explanation to me. Um, it's almost like it's a very convenient way of saving a doomed race.
I'm with you there. Yeah,
I
I think
mean, there's no real talk of a. I mean, there is literally a machine god in Warhammer 40,000, isn't there? But it's not that, is it? So I mean, it feels like they could have potentially missed a trick with that. I don't know. I think I'll be honest. You asked me my thoughts, and I feel like it's raised more questions than answers from my side. Again, it's not something I've ever really given much thought to, but yeah, I get why you're questioning it because it seemingly makes no sense. And I know we are talking about a fictional world where a lot of the fantastical happens, but this seems a lot more rooted in technology as we know it as humans. When you're talking about things like tech systems and programming and things like that, that has, real world analogies, doesn't it? And we understand that to a certain degree. Well, you more so than I do, but maybe we're conflating the real world too much with it, and we've kind of just got to accept that we need to take things with a pinch of salt sometimes.
I don't know because
Mm,
I'm going to politely disagree there. I think if they come down this route, and they have done, and they've done it in other places in 40K. I mean, the entire point of the Imperium is, oh, not the entire point of the Imperium, but a lot of the background to the Imperium going from the Golden Age to where we are now to the age of apostasy and stuff like that, that was all around technology and technological downfall, on like the proliferation of AI and that becoming sentient with the men of iron, the men of stone,
Yeah.
um, kind of how all that worked. So they've elaborated on it in one sense on that side of things, and you're absolutely right. We have the Omnissiah, we have Machine God, whether those two things are actually the Emperor or not, but that it's all fleshed out, no pun intended here with the Necrons, on this side, and then it's almost kind of being glossed over with the Necron side of things,
Yeah.
and it I don't think it takes away anything from the Necron at all, but it made me question the, like, how that law's come to be with the Necron tier and the Necrons and how the Satan actually fit into that law. I mean, does it actually work? Because we've got all of the shards of them, we've got how the Void Dragon, because we've got that link as you've kind of indirectly pointed out there, that the Void Dragon being on Mars is is deeply ingrained into the law of the Mechanicus
Yeah.
and the Emperor, and yet it's not really referred to over this side. I mean, was it the Void Dragon that created the Necron? Was it one of the others? I don't know. This may all be explained in the
I
Necron
I
lore,
mean,
but
if
don't know.
it is, I don't know about it, but again, it's not something I have delved too deep into. I mean, maybe we should. Maybe we should have a deeper dive into Necrons and maybe have a wider chat about it because it's something I'd like to learn a bit more about. I think the lore sounds interesting to me. It's just I'm not a fan of the physical models more than anything. I really like it when I'm reading something from Black Library and Necrons are the big bad that, you know, that something in the Imperium is trying to go up against. I really like that idea, and I like how they're portrayed and described. It's just I don't picture them as I see the models. So it's not the law that I'm not interested in, it's just yeah, it's the tabletop, I guess, but yeah, I mean, in short, I can't say I have a lot of thoughts on it because I don't really have a lot to back it up with, but it's given me some interest into it, and, you know, if you've managed to come up with some really deep questions like that, then they must have quite a lot going on behind them.
I mean, what is it specifically about them that you don't like? Because for me, it is one very specific element I don't like about the aesthetic.
I don't I couldn't really give you a concrete answer. I think I feel like the rank and file Necrons just look a little too basic, and they don't to me, they don't look like they fit in the 40K universe as such. They look more like they look like I feel like they look like Star Wars droids, and I've always thought that, and, yeah, I can't really look past it. It's almost like they're a cross between a B-1 battle droid and something else, you know? They're clankers to me, and I don't really like the that sort of clear green piping that they have on the weapons. I can't remember what they're called.
That's gone.
Oh, was that long gone? Well, I
Yeah,
never did. Outright.
that's
Well,
gone.
I never did at the time when they were sort of first around, but no, I thought they're just not my kind of it's not what screams Warhammer to me. It's not my kind of model. It's not my kind of army.
Okay, interesting.
I don't hate them by any means. It's just I've never owned a single Necron model. You know, I've tried my hand with a lot of different ones over the years. And as far as I'm aware, I've never physically had my own Necron in my hand. I've never built one. I've never painted one. Yeah, just it's not for me.
No, that's fair dues. I mean, are you interested in knowing what it is for me, the one aspect I don't like?
Yeah.
And I think the, couple of things. I find from last episode, myself drawn to Nids. I'm also drawn towards Necrons. I think it's because they're just the most alien, and I think the lore for
Ugh.
both of them is very interesting. The
I
same
think
thing. Sorry, go
sorry,
on.
go on. No, I was
No,
just gonna say, I mean, I'm talking more on the aesthetic side of it. I mean, I would sooner go for Tyranids than I would Necrons any day of the week.
one one
I
uh,
feel like you could be a bit more creative with Tyranids. I feel like you could do more with paint schemes. I feel like you've got more variety there. I don't know. I think for me, it'd just be a more rewarding part of the hobby to go Tyranids and Necrons if, we were comparing the two personally.
Oh, no, no, totally. I mean, what I was kind of getting to is the same thing with the Necrons is why I don't like the Stormcast. It literally is the same aesthetic element, and it's the helmets, the faces, and I would do
Yeah.
exactly the same, and I may do a Necron kill team, because I've been kind of toying with the idea since reading 500 Worlds. Um, I have enjoyed that. It's the mouths. That is the one thing, and it's exactly the same. So with my Stormcast, you'll notice that I got rid of the mouths on all of my Stormcast.
Yeah.
I would do exactly the same thing with Necrons.
What
It's
is it
just
about the mouths you don't like?
they just look like space skeletons, and there's no need. I know they're very much reflective of what the Necron tier looked like, and there is that parity, but that was a design choice I think was done retrospectively, because originally the Necrons were chaos robots, weren't they? In the second or third edition. Third edition was it when they came out? Third, fourth? They
I don't
came out as they were called chaos robots, and then gradually the lore evolved into them being the Necron, and that's where so the lore has been they've kind of changed over time. They were kind of retconned or
know.
or retconned,
Okay. Very good. Yeah. I didn't know that, but,
as the case may be. But yeah, I mean, there's clearly that analog with fantasy as well, with as with everything in 40K, isn't there? That these are clearly an analog for like Soul Blight in some respect, I guess. You know, the the reanimation protocols is basically like necromancy, isn't it? You know, they look like skeletons. It is literally a skeletal horde. It's their entire play style being like this relentless forward marching incessant foe that you take one down, another three of them phase in. It's the same thing with zombies with skeletons, isn't it? You know, and then you've got kind of the mindless lumbering infantry type. Exactly the same with Soul Blight. You know, you've got your zombies, you've got your skeletons, and then you've got your vampire elite at the back, the ones that have more autonomy over what they're doing. It is exactly the same as with the Necrons, because as you go up through the ranks and you get the Immortals, they have more of their self-awareness, their self-control, their personalities from when they were the Necron tier, until you get up all to the Pharaohs or whatever they're called, I can't remember what the overlords and such are called. Yeah, overlords, where they still have all of their personality. So for me, I think that analog works, and that's one reason why I like them. But I think that analog is also why I dislike them in the sci-fi setting, because I think it's too on the nose, even though they have no nose. Um, that the mouths are just there, and it takes away something of the fear factor almost. I think having a faceless face makes them much more terrifying than having humanoid appearance, because you almost
Yeah.
project your fears. I mean, I'm speaking kind of through the mind of an Imperial Guardsman or something, you know? It's just it's a literal faceless assassin walking towards you, just you can't do anything about it. Um, yeah, so I would definitely get rid of the mouths, and I don't think that some of the cooler designs, and I think this is where I think there's a lot of parity between the newer Necrons and the mids. They're becoming more and more, you see more serpentine designs in some of them, and some more bestial designs, and I think
Yeah.
that there is, like I say, the parity between those, so I can see why there's that appeal between the 2 for me. But I think the lore
Yeah.
on both the Necron and these is really interesting. I need it to be elaborated on.
You need some
Um
answers, don't you?
Yeah, and it wasn't the Void Dragon, it was the other one, it was the one that looks like a jester. He's got like he looks like the old style Electro from Spider-Man, kind of.
I don't know who you mean.
Ah, man, what's he is it
I mean,
the
I know who you mean from
Deceiver?
Spider-Man, but
I think is it the Deceiver? It look
I don't know. Let me have a quick look. The Deceiver.
because you got the Void Dragon, innit? You got the Deceiver, you got the Nightbringer.
Oh, yeah, yeah, the Deceiver, the one that's you
Yeah,
often see
I'm
painted
sure
gold.
it yeah, I'm sure it was called the
Yeah.
Deceiver because that I'm sure he was the main one thinking about it now as we're talking. He got the name Deceiver because he deceived them. Literally, I mean, it's again, it's on the nose of, like, putting them into the necrodermis shell, but then they lost all of their sentience, and it was only, like, as you went through the hierarchy of their caste system that they retained more and more of their individualism.
Okay, didn't
Um,
know that.
but then again, thinking back to this technology side of things, if you read some of the books, I would strongly recommend, like, the Infinite and the Divine. I can't tell you, like, you need to read it, mate. It it it
It's on my list, yeah.
it is 100% one that I would strongly recommend you get. Um, there's a lot of talk in that as well about them losing memories and things becoming corrupted. Again, taking back to that very tactile element of it being a computer system rather than just this biotransference that would seem to be somewhat, like, more celestial. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah, yeah.
I'm struggling to marry those 2 things together. I think the more I'm talking about it, the more excited I am by the concept of it, and I would love to see how it, like, coalesces into one larger narrative. Perhaps it's not got to the point in the grand narrative of 40K where it's been explained away, because I think the Necrons were around when the old ones were around, weren't they? And they were them and the old ones were having a bit of a ruck, and that's what caused the Necrons to ultimately, um,
As far as I'm aware, yes, that
yeah,
does ring a bell, yeah. That
get
does
together
sound
with the Satan
right.
to do whatever was going on, along with the skin cancer thing. I'm sure it was like a cancer or something. I know they had ridiculously short lives, much like the Tau. In fact, the Necrons here, if you look at them, look quite similar to the Tau, don't they?
Yeah, similar sort of, I don't wanna say facial expression, but, the visage you see on a Necron, it's quite similar to
It's
the
quite
bone
similar, isn't
structure
it? Yeah.
of Tau, isn't it? Yeah, I never thought of that.
No, I've never thought of it either. I don't think the ex Necro Tau's fairly young in it. They're only like,
I think they're the youngest, aren't
yeah,
they?
yeah, by a
Long
fair
shot.
watch.
Mm.
So that was one of the questions that I had.
It's an interesting thought, yeah, I mean, I'm sorry I can't provide you any answers, but, if they are anywhere in the lore, do let us know, but, yeah, it's a really interesting thought. Uh, yeah, I think it's something I do wanna delve into and have a bit more of spend some time doing a bit of research on, actually, because I think if it could give me a bit more, just a bit of a broader knowledge on, some of the history of the 40K setting, then that's never gonna be a bad thing, is it?
Well, exactly, and I think this is one of the areas where 40K excels over AOS, where that there's probably a lot of the answers to this, like, I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, deep lore or deep concept lore questions. Even if it's not being answered canonically by G-dubs, there's probably strong accepted fan theory out there that kind of, like, fills in the gaps, and
Yeah.
as G-dub tends to do, they kind of assimilate that into what is canon. Uh, but I think this is an interesting one from my perspective. But then that kind of led on into some more questions, well, that again made me scratch my bald bonds a little bit, and I was just like,
You're really making me think tonight, aren't you?
well, thinking about this, right? I need to draw a timeline. There may be a presentation coming soon,
Oh.
or a second discussion about this. But what I was thinking, right, was the Necron tier became the Necrons like millions and millions and millions of years ago. I mean, I think we were in the, you know, way, way distant past, like tens of millions of years. And I do need to check this, so do fact check me. But I'm guessing when the Necron tier were organic, they had something reminiscent of souls or a warp presence or something like that. So I've got a number of questions here. They're all going to overlap. And I think we've touched on one of them previously. So I'm just going to, like, mind puke on you. and get all out there.
Go on then.
So
Brain dump.
enjoy it. There we go. That's what I was looking for. Mind puke, brain
I
dump.
mean, I like mind
Are
puke.
you making notes about this?
I do have a pen in my hand, actually, yeah. No,
Well,
I'm
that's
not.
cool. Wow.
It's because I'm sat at my work desk. It's just, yeah, it's force of habit. Sorry.
Right. So I'm just going to stick it out there, right?
Go on.
We know the chaos. We know Slanesh is the youngest chaos god, and he was formed when all the gubbins with the Eldar was kicking off, right? And the other three numpties were kicking around way before that,
Yeah.
right? So we're going to assume that they're pretty old as well. So there had to be souls kicking about to feed them, or whatever it is that feed them through the warp. So like we know Slanesh is pretty thirsty for souls, but I'm assuming like Korn loves his Kim Warring.
Yeah.
Um, so again, straying away from that Judeo-Christian perspective, Korn was probably around before the first murder of Cain and Abel, which if we get rid of those analogs, humanity is fairly young. So they must have been around way before that. Fine. So who was murdering each other? Probably the Necrontyr and the old ones, right?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah.
But there were souls in the warp and stuff because the warp had to exist because chaos gods. Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Yeah, yeah.
we know canonically they reside in the warp, and it's only manifestations of them in the materium. They can't manifest in the materium
Yeah.
themselves. It is through other things that they manifest. Even though it might be their visage, it is a manifestation of them
Yeah, yeah.
into the materium. Yeah. So the warp then has to exist. So souls and stuff had to exist at the time. Warp presence had to exist, even if the soul concept is a little bit off. At which point then, why did did we see at that point, I suppose, Necrontyr or old ones being corrupted, fall into chaos? If so, why do we not see that now even in other species that don't have a strong presence in the warp? I'm thinking Tau. Not having a presence in the warp, like a null, like Sister of Silence or whatever, is very different to not having a strong presence. If you don't have a strong presence, but you have a quantity, orcs as an example, they have a psychic presence, a warp presence, because
Yeah, yeah.
warp, however you pronounce it, yeah. And we know that they vastly outnumber humans. So surely at that point, if you consumed enough orc souls, that would counter humans. So why are humans so prized, and why do we not see any type of corruption? And I don't mean like cornate orcs kicking around, but any sort of chaos mutation in any other race other than humans, or very, very rarely. I can't think of any model in the current or recent history Warhammer range, be it AOS or 40k, where it's not been a human that's been corrupted or mutated by a chaos god or the warp.
Yeah. No, that's a very good point. I never even thought about that, but you're absolutely right. I mean, I don't know. I mean, off the top of my head, the only thing that I can think it would be a similar sort of Tolkien idea of the weakness of humanity rather than, if you look at the benevolence of the elves in Tolkien's work, I suppose that is fairly reminiscent in a lot of different fantasy genres, including Warhammer. The Eldar being this older, dwindling, sort of higher entity, with a different purpose. Maybe it's something like that. The corruption can happen within humanity because there is something within humanity that allows it to happen. It's this amalgamation of greed, lust for power, all the different things that the chaos gods kind of embody themselves. The violence, the hedonism, all of them ideas, they can manifest within humanity easier than they can with other races because we've got this perfect mix of, you know, being able to think the way we do, having the smarts that we do, but also all the flaws are present at the same time. So it almost it could act as a perfect breeding ground for that the ability to fall, the ability to be mutated, the ability to be corrupted, the ability to do evil or do good, or to be morally grey. It's almost like we being humanity is the best canvas for them to work on almost, where, orcs almost are just kind of a single-minded entity that doesn't have the same thought processes that we do. So maybe when we use a word like souls, maybe we're looking at that from the wrong angle, and maybe it should be a mixture of everything else, physical aspects of the race, the mental composition of the race itself, rather than this idea of a vague idea of a soul, which can't really be quantified in. I mean, it's never quantified in any form of history or any real form of literature, is it? It's almost too vague. So I think you can make an argument to say that it is more about humanity itself than it is about anything else. Do you know what I mean?
I do. I get where you're coming from. I suppose I'm playing devil's advocate,
Hmm.
in some respect. I mean,
You are a contrarian, sir.
I do have counters to your points here.
Okay.
I think. Um, so I get where you're coming from. Totally. I would then come back and say I agree with you on the concept of the soul, and in which case is it ill-defined in the law? I think we can agree and say that that is. Are we then considering it to be from what you just said then, the first thing that came into mind was we're talking about high-level sentience,
Mhm.
in which case then my point still stands, I think, that why we're still not seeing corruptions in things, like Eldar, who are cognitively, I would say, far in excess of humans. I mean, especially when you look at Drakari. I mean, they're mentally completely nuts. Same with Tau, isn't it? It's like, what is suppressing their understanding of the warp then at that point? But then I would also argue your point about humanity, really good, like an incubator for chaos. But what about Habhumans? What about Votan? What about Ogrins? What about Squats? Um,
Yeah.
Surely then we would see those still falling to them because, like, that mutation is physical. They still share the human DNA. They're still, for all intents and purposes, human.
Well,
What
yeah, I
makes
mean, you see it with this.
Spacemarines less likely to fall other than the psycho-indoctrination? In which case, you're right. I suppose your point is then it comes back to that cognition, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think it could be more of a mental aspect than I don't really know what word to use when we're using words like souls. That's more of an ethereal. I don't even think that's the right word, but I think if you putting it into terms, the only real answer I can give you is it has to be something mentally that's going on within humanity that is it makes it just ripe for chaos. Whereas something else, you might have, a pig-headed alien race that is more has more of a defense against it, and I don't know how that could work, but, stubbornness, maybe pig-headedness of the Votan, akin to I keep going back to this, akin to dwarves in Tolkien, they are less easy to corrupt than men were. Maybe it's that sort of idea, and the elves being this almost higher, holier than thou, race that can spot it a mile away so they don't fall because they're already elevated above humanity, so yeah, they don't really need to get involved. I mean, to be fair though, elves in Tolkien did fall. It was just rare. So I'm backing myself into a corner here, aren't I?
No, no, man. I get you. I do think, and it'd be interesting to see if you agree with this, that this conversation is much easier to explain away in Age of Sigmar or in Tolkien, in those worlds. I think it's easier to do in a pseudo fantasy setting than it is to do it in a pseudo sci-fi setting, because once you introduce that juxtaposition between um technology and understanding. I mean, it was Arthur C. Clarke that said, like, any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic. I think it's it's that point really, isn't it? But come back to the original point of the Necrontyr and the Necron and the Satan, how that happened. It feels like, is it magic or is it just really advanced technology? And I think that that fails for me because of the ill-defined linear progression of the Satan from a younger race to through those technological stages to the omnipotent godlike beings and that, as you mentioned, the definition of what gods look like and omnipotence, and we've talked about it before, haven't we? It's like chaos gods technically can be killed.
Yeah.
Thus, are they really gods, or is it something less transcendent? I mean, the conversation's going off and railed into a metaphysical conversation then really, isn't it? But, I think it's a testament to the complexity and the interest in this world that we can have this sort of conversation that I mean, I feel I'm more invested in this than you are, but it's
No,
really piqued
I
me
wouldn't I
to
wouldn't go as
explore
far as to
things
say
more.
that. I wouldn't say you're more invested in it than I am. I think it's just, I think we look at fantasy settings in a very different way. I think, and I might be way off the mark here, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think if you compared the way that me and you think about things, having known you as long as I have, I think you've got a much more logical thought process than
Yeah,
I have to a lot of
yeah,
things.
I need to know.
Yeah, and I think that might be why you ask questions that just don't crop up in my thought processes when I'm reading things. I quite like the abject mystery that can surround something that is magical and is fantastical, but I think you absolutely nailed it there. It is a lot easier to explain away things like souls and things like magic in a high fantasy setting such as Age of Sigmar or in Middle Earth or something like that because it's easier to take that as it is rather than when we've got a setting that, yes, it is fantasy, but it's very much grounded in reality with technology and with the way that I mean, you have blueprints of weapons and blueprints of armor, and it tells you at great length how they create things from these materials that they have, even if they are materials that don't exist in real life. They're explained in such detail that it's almost like they are. And then you get this conflict because you're thinking about it in terms of a real world and
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
based
yeah.
on the future of our real world. I appreciate that, but it is a work of fantasy at the end of the day. So I think there has to be some suspension of disbelief there that we can just turn around and say, we just have to believe it sometimes. We have to just take it that, this god did do this and did give the Necrons this technology, the Necron tier this technology. And it doesn't have to be explained in the sense that, well, who gave the technology? I think sometimes you just have to accept. And I guess that kind of is the whole idea behind religion, ironically, as well. Because if there isn't proof for something, you just kind of have to accept it, and that's what you go with. So, in a roundabout way, I think I've disproved my own point there. So, yeah, yeah, I've completely talked myself out of all relevance there. But it's a very interesting conversation. We often do come back to themes of religion in in our fantasy settings, don't we? I think it's probably because it's something that we find interesting, and we're obviously going to project things like that onto our fantasy settings. When you get these little tidbits that aren't explained, we're always trying to put a frame of reference to it from something that we do know, and that can be a bit of a trap that we fall into that we need to kind of pull ourselves out of sometimes. And I think, again, correct me if I'm wrong, I find it easier to do that than maybe you do.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I need to know. I just need to know. And it's like, if I could have technical manuals for everything, it's like, how does the bolt go? What, like, how many bolt rounds are in a magazine? I, I need to know the answers to these kind of things if
I
I
mean,
could.
there is probably an answer to that somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, there is, but I need it canonicalized. I'm like, do I need it? But I'm the same with you're absolutely right, dude. I mean, you've known me long enough now. This is how I kind of operate in anything. I'm the same with superheroes. I'm the same with Transformers. It's like I need to know like how does mass shifting work in Transformers? Like let's talk about let's talk about that. It's like let's talk about the etymology of kaiju in the Godzilla films, how does that work? All of these things, I
I think,
enjoy
yeah,
that as
it's
much as
I
anything
d
else.
I do and I don't. I mean, it's strange because I enjoy going into really I enjoy sort of deep dives into things like that in the Star Wars universe very much so. Probably more than in Warhammer, and I wouldn't say I'm a bigger Star Wars fan than I'm a Warhammer fan, far from it. I just think there's something about that that is a real mix of technology and religion and over magical qualities, but the 2 are kind of explained and intertwined in a way where I don't think it is as much in 40K, and I'm not trying to compare the 2, and I'm not trying to draw a parallel between them by any means, but I find I find it easier to accept that there is some sort of higher power within Star Wars, and there are things that we're never gonna get an answer to, and I can accept fantastical elements within that, even on worlds that are so technologically advanced, and, you do have blueprints of how a lightsaber's made with this magical crystal that has no place within the technology, whereas in 40K I don't often sort of have that thought process that I would with Star Wars, so I don't know why, but I find it easier to accept things in 40K at face value.
It's weird, isn't it? 'Cause I'm totally the other way around.
Yeah.
It's like
But it's
I
strange
can
because 'cause we're both Star Wars fans and 40K fans, but in a very different way.
I mean, you would think it'd be the other way around for me. I mean, considering what my kid's called, you would think that I'd be all left for the Star Wars, but
Yeah.
it's
Little Moff Tarkin over there.
it's totally the other way around. I'm quite happy to leave that just as, "Yeah, I'm cool," whereas anything else, I need to know about. I remember, like, when I was a kid, I got the, Star Trek: The Next Generation technical manual and poring over the NCC 1701D and, like, "That's where the toilets are." It showed you where the I was like, "Well, that all makes sense now. I can." And I had deep conversations with my dad about, like, why do we never see them going to the toilet?
I think
They
I
need
had
to.
that conversation with somebody about asking where the toilet was on the Millennium Falcon,
Yeah.
and then what happens when you flush the toilet on the Millennium Falcon?
It's all of these things that just need answering. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? But, yeah. So, I mean, that's taken us quite a, down a bit of a rabbit hole, I think, hasn't it?
Yeah, it has, but, it's a good conversation. I mean, don't ever feel like I'm disinterested or, I'm not as invested in things like this. It's just if I don't have an answer, um, I feel like I've got nothing to say back sometimes when really the cogs are whirring in my head and I'm thinking, "I'm gonna find out more about this." I feel like I do need to have a deeper dive into some Necron lore and history behind them on the back of that, which I probably wouldn't have done had you not posed that absolutely I can't speak, not ludicrous question at me at 8:45 on a Friday evening after a full week of work. Thank you for, absolutely blindsiding me with that, but, it's
Sorry,
very
mate.
good. No, it's fine. Very good question, to be honest. I'm gonna try and catch you out with something equally as deep at some point in the future,
Oh,
but
it definitely wasn't meant to, be catching out. It's just it's one that's, it's made me interested in Necron. It's kind of I've been to go into another topic, I suppose, I've been struggling with what to do, hobby-wise. I know we kind of talked a little bit about it, in an earlier segment when we spoke yesterday, perhaps, um, around what I could do with repainting a couple of my soul blight here and there and how I was
yeah.
gonna tackle that. But I think there's a wodge of projects that I want to tackle as well, and perhaps maybe, some of that is not necessarily just painting stuff for the sake of painting it. It's painting stuff that I'm inspired to do from lore, and it may be just a one-off here or there. Um, I've got, like, real interest in certain characters in 40K and with AOS as well. I have I have a real interest in Manfred von Carstein in AOS, the Soul Blight side. I think he's one of the most interesting characters in the setting, and I want to kind of explore a lot of the stuff around the artwork more. Like, hopefully at some point we'll get a revised sculpt for him,
Yeah,
but
I think
that's a project
he's
I'd want to tackle.
yeah, I could see us getting a new sculpt for him personally. I mean, he's been kicking around for a while now. I
But yeah,
do
man.
get what you mean about, I mean, I'm not in that place at the moment. I think I'm in quite a good place. I've really got behind. I mean, we'll go into this in the hobby update, I guess, won't we? But I'm really into my space walls at the moment. With the advent of us playing Kill Team, and with a couple of ideas I've got of proxying certain miniatures in that Kill Team for existing Space Wolf miniatures, and reading the book that I'm reading. That's all come together at a really good time. It's a bit of a fresh focus, and it's something that isn't AOS, because we've been solidly looking at AOS for quite a long time, haven't we? So,
Mhm.
yeah, it's given me a bit of a jolt, and I'm feeling pretty motivated, and yeah, it's it's been a good few weeks for me on the actual practical hobby side of it. So,
Oh, that's positive.
mm, yeah,
Shall we wrap this segment up here then? I think we've jumped around and we're kind of jumping into some other stuff. So shall we tie this one up and then we can jump into perhaps the hobby update?
yeah, we go into the hobby update. That's quite a nice segue, isn't it?
Let's do that then. Let's talk about some hobby updating then, I suppose. Let's do
Ooh.
this. You've mentioned that you've been on with something.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been painting my kill team, haven't I? I've actually
Yeah.
made some decent headway. No more jokes about I never do any painting. We literally sat together and did some painting, didn't we?
We did. And you know
It's
what? I think that's only the second time I've ever sat and painted with somebody, I'm sure.
it's quite enjoyable. And to be fair, I've got to say thank you for helping me out with some tips and tricks that I never thought of. I think you made a comment about the startled look on my face when you suggested I use what I thought was a huge brush. But yeah, I mean, you actually know what you're talking about, don't you? But no, I mean, you'll have seen if you're on the Discord, I've made a start on my kill team. So yeah, I've got all the armor done on my space walls. I've started putting the yellow in for the company marking, so shoulder pads, knee pads, black to offset that on the opposite side. That's done. Got that nice gradient from a dark grey to black. Started doing some of the leather work. That's nearly done. Did a little bit more of that actually today. And yeah, I'm gonna crack on and do what you said, get the faces done next before I move on to doing some of the metals and yeah, just finishing it up really. But yeah, I feel like it's been a very different paint style to what I usually do. And yeah, I'm really enjoying it actually. And I'm really, really liking the finish that I'm getting on them. I feel like I've leveled up painting a little bit from, my last project. My last big project was my Nighthaunt, and I think
Mhm.
these look like definitely like a jump up in quality from my side. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but some new techniques and getting a little bit out of my comfort zone has really helped me enjoy it a bit more, and I'm super happy with how they're looking.
I've got to admit, from seeing them, I think they're the best things you painted by a significant margin. Some of your night out were really, really good as well. But I mean, it feels like you are pushing yourself and like
Ugh.
not trying to be derogatory in any means. It feels like you've gone from very basic techniques to you're now starting to experiment with stuff. Like say, we talked a lot about glazing, about different brush sizes. Um, Things that I thought as well when we were talking, were very cognizant of um, not trying to tell you how to paint. I'm a staunch proponent of, you do you. But there were things that I would assume people take for granted that you clearly you didn't know, and it was really nice to see you kind of like take those on board and at least try them, and then discard the things that didn't work with how you wanted to paint, and then take on board some of the stuff, and then actually see performative results kind of come through in your paint job as we were sat there talking.
Yeah,
That was
it was
really good to
interesting.
see leveling up there, man. So that was genuinely that was a core hobby memory, I think, for me. It was
Ah,
nice to
that's
see.
good. Yeah, no, I mean, no, it's really kind of you to say, but no, I mean, I agree. I feel like these are some of the best things I've ever done, and I'm getting a lot more enjoyment trying something new. And it was, some really basic things that you were saying to me that just never crossed my mind. And it was just how you framed a few things about, you mentioned just how to paint the colors and working with, working up from the base and just things that seemed really obvious rather than just painting flat colors onto surfaces, framing it in a different way, looking at light in a different way. It just, yeah, I feel like I've got a lot more out of it recently.
Mhm.
And yeah, I've just been looking at it a different way and trying to get out of some of the 15-year-old me habits of just, going straight from watered down paint from Citadel pot straight onto the model and, null oil and everything. Yeah, it's leveling up as you say, and I think it's paying dividends. I feel like I've kind of accidentally started leaning towards your paint style a little bit more just from, the exposure that I have with you and enjoying seeing what you do in painting. Yeah, I don't think I'm not trying to emulate what you do by any means, but I think there's a lot of things that I have taken from what you've done with some of the things that I already do, and kind of having a mix. And I feel like I'm almost getting to a point where I'm developing my own technique that I can sort of replicate going forward.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm getting out of it at the moment. I'm planning on buying a couple of character models for my Space Wolves, and I feel like they're going to look really good with this sort of core framework that I've got because I was nervous about painting power armor because I always found it looked flat when I did it before, but trying something new, it's yeah, it's been a lot more fun than I thought it would be.
That's positive. I mean, you definitely get to it. I'm really excited to see what yours is gonna look like when you finish now.
Yeah, well, not far away, but yeah, I think we're gonna I think we're gonna have some good looking kill teams on a board playing against each other, aren't we?
Yeah, I think so. I'm
Mhm.
I'm super excited for that.
Yeah,
What else
so
are
I
you
mean,
reading?
yeah, I mean, so that's kind of the physical side of it. I haven't really bought anything. I did get my subscriber only model in the post. The Inquisitor Ostromandius, I think that's
Mhm.
right.
It is indeed.
Um, he came through today, and I'm not ashamed to say he is on eBay already. I'd rather him go to somebody that might want to, paint that guy up or get him in their army. Basically, it's just gonna go back into the hobby pot, sorry, and I'll end up getting our old friend, what's his face, Stormcaller,
Niall.
Niall
Niall.
Stormcaller. Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the it's not librarian, what are they called in Space Wars? Rune Priest. I'm not a huge fan of that Rune Priest model in the Wolf Scouts kill team, even though you really like that one,
Yeah, I
don't you?
like the Wolf Race, yeah.
Um, I mean, I don't hate it, but I think I just really like Niall Stormcaller, and you have graciously let me proxy him into that force, and I'm super excited to paint that guy. I feel like he's one of the models that I would have been a bit too daunted to paint before, feeling like I was a bit more limited in what I could do, which I think was the wrong idea. And I don't feel like you should stop yourself buying models because you don't think you can do them justice. But I'm at a point now where I feel like I've got a good recipe for Space Wolves, and I think that's going to come across really nicely on a model that I really like, and I think he'll look really cool, even though he's in a different style of armor. I think it's going to be a cool addition to my kill team.
I think you're absolutely right. I'm a big fan of you swapping out some of the models for ones that you want to get in there.
Mm. Yeah, I
It's
think
important
I
you have
think
exciting ones.
yeah, I think he's gonna be the only swap. I'm quite happy with the rest of them. I did a few head swaps from, the standard loadout and build. Everyone's got the same weapons, to keep that uniformity with the data cards and everything. But yeah, I've done a few little tweaks, but yeah, he's gonna be the big one. But yeah, I mean apart from that, I've been reading a bit more. No surprises. I've been reading the Space Wolf book, been reading Kraken Blood, which I've been enjoying. I got that one for Christmas actually, but I've not really had much chance to delve into it. Do you know much about that? You've not read it, have you?
No, I'm not.
No, I think I'm probably around a third, quarter to a third into it, and I've got to say I'm really enjoying it actually, more than I thought I would. It's written in a very descriptive manner that I wasn't expecting it to be. I can't remember who the author is. Hang on, give me 2 seconds. The book is actually down here. Sorry, this isn't making for a very good podcast as I'm reaching to the floor. Bear with me. Um, Mark Collins, it's written by. Yeah, it's set around Ivor Krakenblood, who is a wolf priest, who's a new character, and
Okay.
he's super interesting. It's nice to get some backstory from a brand new character, and it's got a lot about an iron wolf, iron priest, sorry, that you don't really hear about in the Space Wars lore quite a lot. So there's a nice interplay between them two. But yeah, there's a rogue trader, a pretty young rogue trader in it, and I feel like you probably like that side of things. But it's still early days in the book. But yeah, I've got to say I'm pretty impressed. I like the writing style of Mr. Collins, and yeah, I'm excited to read more.
Have you got anything else before I jump into mine?
Um, have I got anything else? That's a good
I don't
question.
know.
I don't think so. We've played a bit of Dark Water, haven't we? We're almost at the end of the
Yeah,
second
yeah.
act. But no, apart from that, it's just been Space Wars for me.
Fair dues. I'm
Mm.
in which bit? Can I jump in? I feel like I've talked a
Yeah,
lot.
absolutely. No, no, go for it. Yeah, tell me what you've been doing.
Well, the book I've been listening to, not been reading, The War of Secrets, Phil Keller, Dark Angels. Mate, I'm not enjoying it at all. I really like Dark Angels. Obviously, this we've talked about it many times, but I'm really struggling with this book. I just really don't like it. It is. I personally don't like using this term. I find it quite disrespectful, but I think this is a prime example of what this is. And I know people thought the Indomitus book was this term as well. I personally didn't find it that way, but bolt upon. It
Boltapon.
bolt upon, yeah, it's
Ugh.
just it doesn't feel, I mean, there are parts of it where, you know, it's about the Primaris contingent being accepted into the ranks of the Dark Angels, which, you know, much like with your own Space Wolves, they're not really into the Primaris
Is
coming
it
into it.
is it a conquest book or novel, audiobook? Is it one of that series? Is it, where it's a Space Marine Conquest? It's one of them, isn't it?
I don't know.
I think if it is, if I'm right in thinking that it is, I find them all to be a bit Bolter-porny, apart from Devastation of Baal. Um,
Oh,
I found
Devastation Ball I've read, and that
yeah.
was good, but yeah, I'm struggling with this, so that's one thing that I've kind of got on there, and it's not it feels like the Armageddon box. It's just very
Ugh.
plain and boring.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a time and a place for that, and I think, a lot of people do enjoy that kind of thing, but I think, as you probably gathered from today's episode, we do like, a bit of deeper narrative and a bit of mystery and a bit of, again, I don't wanna sound derogatory to anybody that does enjoy, let's call it bolt upon, but I feel like we need something a little bit more gripping in what we look for in the hobby, rather than just this face value, shoot 'em ups, you know? Is that fair
Yeah,
to say? Without
mm,
sounding too
I think
elitist, because
I
that's not
think
what I'm
so.
trying to do.
Well, my next point is, as we've talked about in, um, another section, I've been reading through the campaign books from 10th into 11th, and what I've really liked about those, to be honest, is they've been more about the setting
Yeah.
and the narrative rather than an individual story.
Mm.
And I feel I'm kind of gravitating towards that sort of um, exploration of the lore more than a specific story.
Yeah, I
Um,
think we've touched on that aspect before lightly, haven't we? And yeah, I think that's definitely, something that you enjoy more than I do.
Mhm.
Mm. But,
Yeah.
no, it's interesting. I mean, are you have you finished this book? Sorry, what was it? War of Secrets?
No,
No.
I am, however, and I never do this with audiobooks. I'm listening at 2 times speed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I just need to get through it. I only generally listen to American podcasts at 2x because it's like I find it for the podcast I listen to anyway, um, that it speeds up the words.
Okay.
Obviously, it speeds up. I'm getting tired now, aren't I? Yeah, it speeds up the conversation up to a reasonable speed to what I expect if I'm trying to, take on information. And I rarely do it with books because I enjoy the, the descriptions of the world. I like time to explore that in my own head as it's kind of playing out. But this, I'm just I want it over with.
Well, do you think, I mean, it might turn around? How far into it are you?
6 hours. I think it's only 10 hours.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, you might get a twist, you might get a hook, you don't know yet. But I
Yeah.
think, good on you for persevering. Who's it, is it about a new character, an existing character, or is it you know,
No, well, it is a named character.
okay.
Um,
It's not like Azrael or
nah,
Belial
nah.
or any of them guys, is it?
It,
No.
I mean, there are like hints of them in there and stuff, but it's basically just about getting the Primaris into the Dark Angels and understanding like the layers upon layers of abstraction of the different.
Similar
Um,
to the Space Hulls one,
yeah,
where
yeah,
there
kind of.
was that story that I didn't particularly enjoy where they had the Primaris shoehorned into it.
That's it. It's, oh, where are the Raven Wing going? Like who are these? And it's like yeah,
It's almost
figuring
like
it out
they
from the Primaris perspective. So it's
Yeah, it's almost like they just had to shoehorn some books in to quickly, you know, move the narrative on a little bit.
that's it.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
that's it.
I get
Um,
that.
Other than that, what else have I been doing? I've finished my Kill Team Just Yet. I think I mentioned that in the last one.
They are
I've
up
not-
on our Instagram if you haven't seen them.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah, yeah. Go and take a look and let me know what you think. I painted in Ultramarines. I painted
Drop a
Imperial.
like, drop a
What else? What else have I done? Made a little bit of progress on my Death Guard kill team. The other one that was in the kill team starter box.
I haven't
I,
seen any of them. You haven't sent me any photos of them yet. Are you gonna wait for a big reveal?
no, no. I thought I'd shown you
No?
some.
No, not yet.
Um, I had planned on doing them well, they are in a different manner to what I painted my previous Death Guard, which I no longer own.
You
But I
told
planned
me
on
how you're doing the sort of gradient between the, sort
yeah,
of heresy era colours and then having the corruption sort of creeping in. Yeah, I'm
that's
really
right.
intrigued to see what they're gonna look like. I'll tell you what, don't show me them until you've done them. I
Okay.
think that'd be something different because we're always I mean, we sit and chat, like, all day on WhatsApp, don't we? And we're always sending pictures back and forth of, our updates. So I'll tell you what, for a change, keep them ones till you're done, and I'd be really interested to see the sort of, the end product because I know what they look like, you know, and all the GW box art and everything and, how you expect them to look, and, yeah, I'll be really interested to see them actually.
Yeah, they don't look like that.
Nice. No, I'm excited to see them. I know you've got, well, I mean, we were talking about, Mortarion, Morty, as you were calling him earlier, weren't we? So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, you've got something going on with them guys at the moment, haven't you, in your head?
I mean, I had a sizable Death Guard army
Yeah, I suppose
before.
you're a big fan of Nurgle in AOS as well, aren't you? Yeah,
Yeah,
you've got
yeah.
some absolutely sick looking models in that range.
I'm hoping I'm gonna have some more. I really need to crack
Mm.
on with I say really need to crack on. I don't want to crack on. I'm going to enjoy painting the recently released range of them. So yeah, I'm
Ugh.
going to be adding to that once I've got rid of the Slaves to Darkness and another couple of bits and pieces. I'm going to invest in the elements there that I'm missing. So I've done that. I painted when I was with you last night. The I can't remember what it's called.
The terrain, the Mechanicum,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't know
the
what that.
big
Some
the
type of reactor. Hemotrope reactor is it?
yeah, something to that
I think
effect,
yeah.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's looking pretty cool. I like what you're doing
That's
with it.
kind of getting there. Obviously, I need to do the glow on it and stuff now, but I couldn't really do that yours. Um,
Oh, well,
and I've got
I
another
do
couple of.
apologize. Too many distractions with my
Well,
fiancé making us biscuits and my dog giving you all the attention.
I mean, don't get me wrong, man. I enjoyed painting
I
with you, but
know.
I
I'm only
wanted to
winding you up.
bring over my own, airbrush setup, and
Yeah, I'm only joking, I know.
yeah, no, no, I'm honestly. And I've got a couple of other bits of terrain that I printed out for backdrops for photos as well. Speaking of photos, the other thing that I've been working on is I've photographed all of my Slaves to Darkness armor, um, and also I got like 360s on the turntable of the models that I wanted to kind of document for my own prosperity and put up on Instagram and stuff. So I am selling that army as we've mentioned.
Mhm.
So I've got all of that out of the way, and I took the opportunity as well while I had everything kind of set up, to re-photograph some of my soul blight that I wasn't happy with, and that's kind of also prompted me to make a couple of little changes there, like we talked about. So I've started to do little bits of touch ups here, just on literally on the rims of the bases and stuff, because I'm really eager to get in with them as well. So it's been a little bit piecemeal with the hobby, but I'm slowly kind of getting back into the painting mojo. I've got a couple of projects on the periphery of things now that I've been making videos for. 'Cause like I say, with the Slaves to Darkness project finished, that's been almost a year's worth of videos. Otherwise, I'm starting to change direction of what it is I'm doing rather than having these large army painting projects. I'm more passion projects now and into more gaming and lore exploration. So yeah, that's kind of it's been a little bit of a change for me, I think, and it's almost been giving myself permission to change focus as to what I've been doing for my hobby rather than just seeing it as a productivity event
Um,
thing. Like, I think this comes back to what you said earlier about me actually, and I think it's a really interesting observation that I need the logic side of things and the lore and stuff, but I also need wrongly, I feel, for myself to be productive when it doesn't necessarily have to be productive. It's about relaxing and unwinding, and I think that's sometimes I definitely forget that that is part of it. Um,
yeah, I think, it's always really hard to strike a balance, we've talked about hobby burnout, and we've talked about us being two grumpy older blokes that have families, full-time jobs and all this, and I think we do need to take a step back and remember that this is a hobby and this is supposed to be fun, and we do get bogged down with it sometimes, when you've got a big grey pile of shame or, you're trying to churn something out for the sake of productivity, as you say, you can almost forget why you're doing it. And, I'm not saying that that's what you did by any means, because 'cause I'm not in your head, but yeah, I think it sounds like it's been a good, I don't wanna say epiphany because that's probably overselling it a bit, but it seems like you might have had a little rethink of your priorities, and it sounds like it's a positive move.
yeah, I think so. I'm looking
Mm,
forward to it. I feel it's probably the right thing I need to do to allow me to more fully enjoy the hobby, and that's definitely what I want to do.
good.
So yeah, I think that's everything I've done. I do want to rewatch some of the Warhammer Plus stuff. I might do that later this evening if it's not too late. I am highly
You
caffeinated today, but I am starting to flag a
I was
little
gonna
bit
say,
now.
you will crash as soon as we're done. I know
Almost
you.
certain. I can see. I start to slur my words. I do sound like I'm drunk, don't I? When
I
I'm
won't
getting
go that
tired.
far. No, to be fair, actually, I need to watch some of the stuff on, Warhammer Plus. I've heard some really good things about the Sisters of Battle series. I can't remember
Yeah,
what it's
that's all
called.
to check out.
Yeah, I wanna watch that, so keep me posted if you get to it before I do. I'm here and there. We've got a bank holiday over here in the UK this weekend, and I'm here and there and everywhere for a bit, so I don't know when I'll get to sit down and watch it, but, if you get there before me, let me know what you think.
Oh, I will do. I will do.
Mm.
I won't spoil it for you though.
No, don't. If you could leave it unspoiled, that'd be great, but, yeah, I think when I watch that, it might make me really wanna buy some Sisters of Battle because I know that's how my brain works. If I see some I mean, it's GW's market working in the
You are
you
an
know,
hobgoblin.
I definitely are, yeah, you know me, and
I
it'll
did
probably
nearly buy
happen.
the Eric dice to be fair, but I didn't.
The Ari dice were nice, but I suppose if you ummed and ahed, they went like that, didn't they?
I know, right?
That was
Oh,
me clicking my fingers if that didn't come across on the microphone.
there is something else that I mentioned to you earlier when we were chatting, and after that I went ahead and sorted it out.
Oh, go
So
on.
I'm getting a Mechanicus and a Dark Mechanicum tattoo.
Did you decide on that?
Yeah, yeah, I've got it
Nice.
get sorted out. So my artist who I also play Warhammer with and is a very good friend of mine, is gonna hook a brother up. So yeah, he's gonna be doing some more work on my back piece. Um, and gonna give me a couple of bangers as well to fill in. And we haven't decided where yet, but we're thinking on my kneecaps
Excellent. I think that's a
angle
good
on
idea.
my upper legs. I just it's if it's gonna interfere because I've got a Marvel leg and a DC leg, and that's all that's on those at the moment. But I've run out of space literally everywhere else.
Ooh, crossing the streams.
I know. It's like you all want to put. I mean, the only other place that he suggested, and this was like hilarious, is because my back piece comes down on the top of my ass. He's like, we could we could put one on each of your bum cheeks. I'm like,
I mean,
no,
you
we're not
could.
doing that, dude.
No, I mean, like, I mean, tattoos are a very personal thing. I get it. I'm not sure I'm at the level where I'd get a Warhammer tattoo yet, but I mean, none of my tattoos match. I know you're more heavily tattooed than I am, but there's no cohesion with mine. I mean, I do have a couple of very overt white girl tattoos from when I was in my early 20s that I do regret, but at the same time, I don't cover them up. It's, I enjoyed them at the time, and I look down and sometimes I get some good memories of that. So, yeah, I think tattoos don't always have to match, and there doesn't need to be a lot of cohesion there. I think crossing the streams on your own legs is fine.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's just that I've got a Spider-Man leg and a Batman leg, and there's some parity between. Anyway, this isn't Warhammer. You got it, yeah. But yeah, I'm getting some Mechanicus tattoos. So.
So, I mean, the big question is, I mean, the podcast is called "Feel No Pain," and we're talking about tattoos. So, I think there is a tenuous link there.
Well, yeah. I mean, as I've got older, it's definitely become more painful. I've not enjoyed my back. I'm not
No,
gonna lie.
I don't have anything on my back, but I can't say. I mean, I don't particularly. I quite enjoy getting tattooed in a strange way, but
Mhm. Mhm.
I don't think I would enjoy getting my back tattooed by any means.
Yeah, and it was like it was all that's been done so far was done in one session.
And was
Oh
it?
no, it was 2 sessions. Yeah, like the main marine. So like I've got a Dark Angel banner, like an ancient. Um, in fact, it's Asmodai. So
I know.
if
I
you
mean,
know who he
you
is,
sent me
yeah,
a picture. Oh,
yeah,
I
yeah.
suppose you're saying this for the purpose of the podcast. I almost forget that
Um,
we're recording this sometimes.
there we go. So I've got that was done in one sitting with the demons and stuff on it, and then I had the Redemptor put in the background with the plasma gun going under, like to the back of my armpit. That was done just in between a game of Warcry and Kill Team when we were having a breaky. Smashed a couple of hours in, but um,
As
yeah,
you do.
yeah, I didn't enjoy that at all.
No.
No, no, not fun, not
Well,
fun.
keep me posted on that. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I've really gotten into Mechanicus, and oh, I'm lying. There was something else. I'm gonna get a um, Soul Blight Gravelord's sigil as well, just as another
Nice.
filler in. Sometimes I regret having my arm like full sleeves, but it'd have been cool to have them. But
Yeah,
I don't know when I'm gonna
running
get
out
them.
of real estate now, aren't you?
Yeah, I was thinking of Mechanicus because I've got some code on each of my ribs, getting them on my ribs,
Oh, that'd be
having
cool.
yeah, like normal Mechanicus one side and Dark Mechanicus on the other side,
I like that idea.
and then perhaps like over my stomach for the Emperor.
I mean, whatever you want to do, but yeah. To be honest, I don't see a lot of Warhammer tattoos. In my general browsing. So if anybody out there's got some really cool Warhammer tattoos, let us know. I'd like to see them. As long as they're PC, if they're safe for work.
When we were on holiday last year, there was like a guy in the pool that had like just loads of
When
random
we were
Warhammer
on
stuff all
holiday,
over him.
I don't remember going on holiday with you.
Gotten it already, Will. Oh.
Sorry, go on.
No, it was just like a random guy in the pool with his family with loads of Dark Angel tattoos, and we walked past, and it's sort of like,
And then you went, did we just become best
"What's
friends?
Legion?" And I was like, "Yeah." And
Nice.
randomly, I ended up talking to his kid about Transformers. His kid was like a massive Transformers fan, and he's like, "Do you know what he's talking about?" I'm like, "Yeah, I do."
It's almost fate.
He was just
No,
like,
that
"Mine was like heavily into Transformers." Yeah, now I can just talk to my own kid about Transformers. It's great.
yeah, well, you can't talk to me about it because I have no idea what you're talking about.
No,
So,
unfortunately not. I can
no.
talk at you, but
I
yeah,
mean, I'll listen, but how much of the knowledge I retain is a different thing. It's like when I talk to you about Gundam or anything like that, it's in one ear, out the other, innit?
that's it. That's it.
But no, I mean, it sounds like I think we both made a decent bit of progress, actually. I think, yeah, I mean, I'm a really good stage where I'm enjoying what I'm doing at the moment. I'm quite G'd up to get these finished. I'm excited to play Kill Team. Yeah, I've really got the buzz back.
Good. I mean, me too. I'm excited for it. I'm really excited to play Kill Team.
I think we're gonna get a lot out of it, to be honest, especially since the last releases and the Red Terror, all that side of things. I think we're gonna have a lot of fun with it.
Absolutely, dude. I've got some ideas, and I'm excited to share them with you. But we're gonna do it
Yeah,
in next episode. Yeah, we'll talk about it next episode because there's
leaving
gonna be
me hanging.
more AOS stuff as well coming along. But
Mm.
Yeah, I think shall we? We'll answer the questions in the next episode 'cause I think we're going about 3 hours now, so
Yeah, and I
probably
think
enough for anybody to listen to us both whinge on. So
we've got some quite meaty questions as well, haven't we? So, yeah, we'll save them
yeah,
for next time out, guys, but, yeah,
yeah,
it's been good.
cool. In which case, it's been fantastic to have you back, Will, and we'll
Mm.
see you all next time.
Yeah, it's been good to be back, and yeah, thank you for joining us. As always, feel free to hop over to the Discord to come and chat with us and our little gang we've got over there. Keep an eye out on our Instagram, and if you've got any input or if you've got any questions you want us to answer, get in touch over email, drop us a message on Instagram, just whatever. Find us. We're online perpetually.
Yeah, and on that note, we'll see you later.
See you next time.